What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 266, and it's another one of our stupid, sexy sponsored episodes. The backlog is getting smaller and smaller by the week. And this time around, we're talking Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. Gotta say, I hate that name, but I like that game. That rhyme. I did not intend for that to rhyme. The show is peaked at about the 1 minute mark. Fuck me. If you didn't know, I did not watch anything Star Wars growing up. I didn't watch anything Star Wars until a few years ago. It was during the pandemic. I decided to finally sit down and tackle these movies and see what all the hubbub is about. And I really liked, well, not all of them, but I really liked most of them. They're good. Star Wars is good. And I've slowly started playing the Star Wars games now. KOTOR was my first, and I love that game. I will always love KOTOR. Booty call anytime I want. Just has to call. It's there. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer was pretty cool. I've played Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which was awesome. And yes, I still want to play Survivor. I just haven't had time. And now it's Jedi Academy. And I gotta say, 4 for 4 on Star Wars games. It was pretty fun. I haven't played a Star Wars game I didn't like yet. Couple of notes, just to set the table here, as it were. Number one, I could not beat it. I got stuck on the third set of missions for days because I have literally zero lightsaber game. I think the lightsaber is the coolest part of the game, but I am bad at it. So still really fun, and I looked up the ending to see how it ended and everything. Still a fun game. Number two, we are going to get into some minor spoilers, so just be warned. Number three, I'm still a Star Wars newbie, so if I get anything wrong, I know how that fan base can be. Please be gentle. Right? I can like Captain Kirk. You can like Captain Picard. At the end of the day, we're all Star Wars fans. So just relax. And finally, number 4, I did not touch the multiplayer because I'm a loser who only plays with himself. However, fortunately, I have a buddy who's an expert in multiplayer. It's like on, in Pawn Stars, where every time somebody brings something in, they're like, let me call my buddy who's an expert. And I do have an expert in multiplayer, and that's my friend Tyler, who comes by to talk about his adventures and the Jedi Academy online. And before that, the stupid, sexy sponsor that made this all possible, longtime Patreon Vic Vinegar, gives me a call to tell me why he loves this game so damn much. So it's 3 nerds, a whole lot of nerds doing a whole lot of nerdy shit on the show this week. And we'll get there in just a minute, because speaking of a whole lot of nerdy shit, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Consider this your warning. Our intros are kind of long, but they're fun. And you don't have to be very good at the lightsaber to enjoy them. That's the lamest one of those I've ever done, I think. Fuck, that was bad. Whatever. As long as you're not a dipshit like Rosh, you can listen. That's a little better. It's whatever. It's the infamous intro. The infamous intro is better than this. Let's go with that. If you do want to skip it, if you just want Star Wars talk, go about 30 minutes up the road. You'll be in a Star Wars for gold, all right? But I recommend giving the whole thing a shot. We talk video games and stuff. It's fun. I do have to get my plugs out of the way. It's how we keep the bills on around here, as we say. Our summer sale that we extended is running until the end of September, so only for a few more days. You can save 20% on your order with code RTG5 at rememberthegamepodcast.com. We have our new 5th anniversary designs over there. They've been selling pretty good, actually. People are seemingly liking them, which is really nice. So thank you for the support, by the way. All of our merchandise was designed by my man Joe from 4545creative.com. Again, rememberthegamepodcast.com if you want to check it out. Great way to support the show. And of course, if you don't like clothes, Patreon, baby. That's probably the way to go. It's about the best deal in the history of the internet. You can finally listen to our episodes on Spotify. Thank fuck. Our subs start at $3 a month, and we offer up to 4 extra podcasts each week. Every Monday, Mark McHugh and I talk Simpsons on Purple Monkey Dishwasher. Every Tuesday, I drop The Rambling Idiot, where I talk about myself, comedy, TV, movies, sports, whatever I feel like. Every Friday, it's Game Patch, my modern gaming news show, where I talk about the biggest stories in video games, new releases, etc. And Expansion Pass goes live every Thursday, and that's a different gaming show every week. We do rankings. We look back at characters, consoles, genres, franchises. There's some comedy episodes. There's a fucking shit ton of modern game reviews. This past week, it was Expansion Pass 179, and I wrapped up the hat trick with my 3rd straight modern game review. First, we did Final Fantasy 16, then we did Sea of Stars, and this past week, I talked F-Zero 99. People have been asking me about it nonstop since it was announced, so I spent about 45 minutes blowing smoke up its back door. And as is becoming tradition, here is a sneak peek of last week's episode of Expansion Pass, my spoiler-free F-Zero 99 review. F-Zero 99 has been everything I imagined it could be and so much more. It is just so much fun. It is so fucking good. And the thing about it is, unless you get into like a 5-race Grand Prix or a 3-race Mini Prix or one of those types of events where you need to play multiple races unless you get knocked out, you can play a game in like 3-4 minutes. Like an exhibition, just one quick race. It's those tracks aren't long. F-Zero tracks aren't big. The cars go fast. It is a fast game. It's perfect. And fuck me, does it have that one more game hook to it? As much as like anything I've played in a long time. I really enjoyed, like, Fall Guys is a good time. You all know I love Tetris 99. Mario 35 was great. Pac-Man 99 was cool. There's all kinds of online games where you just hop in and out and play one more game. But I honestly don't know if I've ever played one where I felt that one more hook as deep as I do with F-Zero 99. So that's now available in our archives. And this week, it's Expansion Pass 180. And I just realized we should be talking something about darts. Fuck, I don't think I've ever played a darts game. The darts mini game in Final Fantasy VII Remake was good. We could do that. No, I should have done something with 180. Anyways, the topic this month, or this episode, the topic this week was up to our Patreons, as it is the final expansion pass of the month, and the biggest pieces of shit in gaming squeaked out a win in the poll. And at this point, I honestly don't know if we're going to be talking developers, content creators, characters, a mix of all of it. All I can promise is lots of shit, which is how I describe my shows. So again, subscriptions start at $3 a month. You get new podcasts every week, instant access to literally hundreds of ad-free bonus podcasts in our archives, instant access to our Discord, the chance to vote in our Patreon poll every month, the ability to submit comments to be read on our shows. You can DM with me, and you even get a shout-out and get to hear me mispronounce your name like I'm about to do to most of these people. A huge thank you to our newest Patreons: Nathan Pham, Jack Blackmun, I Smell Handsome. That's not true. Calvin Krogwold, Reaper C97, Michael X, Philip. That's fake. Munkal, Dragoni, Eric Steen, Ian Darnbro, Matthew Crossman, Forsaken. Oh, it's Hero. It's Forsaken H3RO, Forsaken Hero, or He3O. Diablo Spartan, Falcons Freak 02, Kareem Abdul Sadik, Soda Popinski. I fucking hate that name. Justin Blair, McCracken, Ascalon. I'm really butchering these week. AJ Coleman, Robin Defy, Breakfast with Roxy, Gavin Hogg, Sheffling Prime, David Anaya, and Butters Stotches. I'm sure I ruined a bunch of those. Wear that as a badge of honor. I only butcher the names of the people I like. Thank you all so much for the support, and welcome to Remember the Game Industries, patreon.com/rememberthegame. Don't forget, we're donating 5% of our Patreon income to charity for my 24-hour marathon, which we'll have a date for next week. And we offer annual subscriptions that'll save you your 12 months fees. And finally, you can find me on Twitch whenever I feel like getting on there. I've been playing a lot of F-Zero 99 lately. Twitch.tv/member the game. Member the game over on Twitch. Not remember. Remember the game. All right, that's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is 199 Big T, who wrote in and said, long time sucker, first time blower, so I hope my technique satisfies you, Andy. That is funny and disturbing at the same time. With Mario Wonder now less than a month away, what would be your all-time favorite theme from side-scrolling Mario games and your all-time favorite theme from 3D Mario games? It's okay if one of them is coming from Mario's Missing. Mark probably isn't listening. I guarantee you Mark isn't listening. Fucking Mark. So when you say theme, I assume you mean like song. That's what I'm assuming. Or did you mean theme like how Mario Wonder's theme is going to be that Mario's high on drugs? I don't know. I assume you mean song. So if you're talking song for 2D Mario, it's the underground music from Mario Brothers 3. That like beatboxing remix of the underground music. I fucking love that song. And for 3D, it's definitely the chill music from the water level in Mario 64 with the ship. Like you all know, you can hear it right now, can't you? I love that song. And then if you, by some chance, you did mean like my favorite gimmick / item, whatever, then it would be the cape from Super Mario World or the ice flower in whichever Galaxy game the ice flower was in. I don't remember, but I think you mean the songs. So, man, Mario Wonder is less than a month away. Fuck, I can't wait. That and Spider-Man 2. Oh, it's gonna be the best day ever. Fuck me. Oh, Stoop Kid 90 wrote in and said, my wife makes fun of me. Me too, my friend. Because I keep my games and CDs in alphabetical order. But I've always wondered, if you're putting something in AVC order, if the game starts with the, does it get put under the T? Or do you go with whatever the rest of the title is? Example, does The Bard's Tale go under T for the or B for Bards? That is a mindfuck of a question, Stoop Kid 90. Truth be told, when I collected video games, that was something I struggled with myself. I don't have a lot of physical games anymore, so I don't alphabetize them. I just throw them on the shelf and figure it out. But I generally did not go with the T for the. Generally. Because, like, the thing about it is, like, there's a lot of games where they start with the, and I don't really, like, The Bard's Tale. I wouldn't say I'm going to play The Bard's Tale. I'd be like, I'm playing Bard's Tale. Right? So I don't, very rarely do I actually say the, unless it's something that has to be said. So, no, what do you all do? That's tough. That's tough. That's one of those things where I feel like it's 50-50 when it comes to society. We're all arguing with each other over all these, like, stupid real life things when what we should be arguing with each other about is stuff like, do you put video games and things in the order of T or in the order of whatever letter comes after the? It'd be just like, you know, do you put ketchup on your fries or beside your fries? These are the things we as a society should be split upon and divisive and waging war with each other against, not fucking real life. So, no, I generally, for the record, I drop the T and alphabetize based on the rest of the letters, and I usually put my ketchup all over my fries because I like the randomness, but once in a while, if I'm feeling kinky, then I dip. Lotus wrote in and said, hey, Adam, just wanted to say I've thoroughly enjoyed your Adam Sucks at Video Games Let's Plays, and I think it's a goddamn shame how low the view counts are on them. I just wanted to inform you of that. Thank you, Lotus. And I rarely do this, but I'm going to read this comment just to kind of blow smoke up my own ass and plug it. If you, by chance you don't know, youtube.com/rememberthegame, I have a whole bunch of Let's Plays. I don't do a ton of them anymore, but you can find them over there. There's some Super Nintendo games. There's some modern games. Yeah, Adam Sucks at Video Games. You can find them at youtube.com/rememberthegame. Thank you, Lotus. That makes me feel good. Thank you. Magpie Eye Pierce said, hey, Adam, I was on vacation and missed your expansion pass episodes allowing us hot dogs to present Play 1, Remake 1, Erase 1 dilemmas for you. Luckily, I thought of another dilemma that I want, nay, need your take on. The game is Leave One Alone, Tweak One, Erase One, and the category is franchises. The nominees are The Simpsons, Super Mario, and Ninja Turtles. Hope you can live with the results, as we know you tend to will things into existence. Okay, so Mario, Simpsons, and Ninja Turtles, and I can leave one, tweak one, erase one. I'm going to leave Ninja Turtles because I think Ninja Turtles is fucking rolling right now. The Last Ronin was awesome. We got video games coming out. The new movie kicked ass. We have a new series coming, the IDW comics. I'm going to leave Turtles alone because it's doing fine. I know this is going to seem sacrilegious on a video game podcast. I'm going to tweak The Simpsons and make it back like the glory days. And I'm going to reluctantly erase Mario because while I love Mario, there's tons of other video games that I love. There's very few franchises I love as much as the Ninja Turtles, and I don't know if there's a TV show out there, with maybe the exception of South Park, that I love as much as classic Simpsons. So it's Mario is the victim of, it's like when you have like a star player on a team full of star players, you're like, we can lose that one star, and Mario's a star player on a team of star players. We have so many great video games right now. Frankly, less Mario would be less shit for me to have to play this year, because I still have to get to Mario Wonder and Mario RPG. But I don't want to do any of those, Magpie. If by some chance I just accidentally erased Mario for real with my powers of bringing things into existence, you just made my shit list like no one has ever made it before, my friend. Lauren Guy said, hi, Adam. One of my greatest challenges in gaming is my inability to play third or first-person games without experiencing severe motion sickness and headaches after just 5 or 6 minutes. Unfortunately, I've never been able to overcome this issue. Do you have any advice? I feel like I'm missing out on some great games like Spider-Man, Horizon, God of War, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and others. What can I do to mitigate this problem? Thanks for your help, and cheers from Israel. Hey, what up, Israel? Cheers from Edmonton. Boy, that sucks. Lauren Guy. Those are some great fucking games. I don't know. I have some issues with motion sickness as well, but it rarely comes from video games. Like I know it's going to sound stupid, but like I can't read when I'm on the treadmill. Like if I've tried that before, like I'm like walking on the treadmill, I'll like focus on reading a book or something. I get so sick. Sometimes I get sick in the car. I get really sick on amusement park rides, so I don't ride them because I just puke all over everybody. I haven't run into that with video games yet. Maybe what I would recommend is go almost completely blind in your right eye, because that's what happened to me, and I can only see out of my left eye, and when it comes to video games, I don't usually get sick. I'm sorry. Other than that, I don't know. Maybe just take a lot of, not Benadryl. I mean, Benadryl is good fucking ties. Takes like some Pepto-Bismol or some Tums before you play. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, that sucks. I read that without even having any good advice to offer, Lauren Guy, just because my heart breaks for you. Otherwise, just go back to the Super Nintendo and the Genesis and enjoy the classics. But are they better than, I don't know if I'd say they're better, but pretty fucking good. And you can play Spider-Man. You can play Final Fantasy VII on the classics. They're just not as good. Sorry, dude. Otherwise, yeah, try. I don't know. It works for me. I can't see out of my right eye, in case you don't know. Other than peripheral vision. Try covering your right eye. Maybe it'll help. Maybe. I don't know. Just be careful, because you're going to walk into stuff like I do. Cheese Zombie Gaming said, yo, blank, I know you like sports, so I was just wondering what are some of your favorite sports movies, and which ones do you think would make good video games? Remember the game forever. Thank you, Cheese Zombie Gaming. Man, my favorite sports movies. Rocky is my favorite sports movie, for sure. I love boxing movies. Rocky's great. Cinderella Man is great. $1 Million Baby is great. Creed, like most of the Rocky movies. I love... I know it's an unpopular opinion. My favorite football movie is Friday Night Lights. I love Varsity Blues. I love Any Given Sunday. I love Rudy. But Friday Night Lights has always been my favorite football movie. Slapshot, obviously. Goon, The Mighty Ducks. Man, oh man. Oh my God. There's so many, like... no matter what I say, people are going to be like, how have you not mentioned insert this video game here? I think my favorite baseball movie is 42. I love that movie. Okay. So anyways, which ones would make good video games? I would love an original Space Jam video game. Not the shitty LeBron James one, but the OG. I don't know what you would do with it, but that'd be fucking awesome. A Mighty Ducks video game would be pretty cool. Oh, dude, imagine a Mighty Ducks 4 video game where you have to, like, build an NHL team and sign the Mighty Ducks. And all the other, like, you could sign, like, Gunnar Stahl from Team Iceland and... Oh, fuck me. That's the one. A Mighty Ducks game where you have to build a pro franchise and you can sign any skater from like you could get like Bombay to come back and play. And oh my God, that's the one. Fuck yeah. A Mighty Ducks video game. I'm a hockey guy. That's the one for sure. That'd be so sick. Or just a Rudy RPG would be cool too. I'd buy that for $1. Said, hey, blank man, how did you mention Michael Jackson 22 and a half times on the last episode of the show, but didn't mention the video game Michael Jackson's Moonwalker? Are we ever going to get a Moonwalker for the Sega Remember the Game? You know what? I thought of that after we recorded the episode that we never brought up Moonwalker. Never say never. I have it on my Genesis Mini. I hacked it and added it to it. Is there interest in a Michael Jackson's Moonwalker episode? Let me know. Hot dogs, if you're interested, maybe we'll make that happen someday. And finally, before we move on, it's letter time. Brandon DeZeba said, hey, Super Adam, it seems a lot of these games bring up nostalgic memories of sleepovers, playing games with my friends till the wee hours of the morning. Do you have any cool gaming sleepover memories growing up? Have a great week. I love this. So, like, normally the letter time letter is like, hey, what do you think this means for the future of gaming and that kind of stuff? But this one just made me happy to think about my classic sleepover memories. I do it two that stuck out to my mind. Number one is playing the classic Ninja Turtle beat 'em ups, be it Turtles 2, Turtles 3, Turtles in Time, and you remember when like a foot soldier would come up and they had swords? If one of us was playing as Leto, it was like, you have to take those guys because you're the sword turtle. That's the sword guys. You take them. Like, oh, here come the sewer cover guys. Donatello, you've got the baseball bat. You take them out. So that's easily one of them, is playing the classic Turtles games, particularly Turtles 3, because when you died, somebody else could swap out. So 4 of us could play, each have our own turtle. And when somebody died, you got to swap in with your turtle. More Turtles games should fucking do that. The other one that really sticks out to me is Super Mario Kart and playing like battle mode 1-on-1 and loser hands the controller off. Winner stays on. That is So many fucking memories. Oh my God. And then I remember staying at my friend Sean's house and playing WCW NWO Revenge for like days at a time. But those are the two, Turtles and Mario Kart. So many, and GoldenEye, and like, oh my God, that just takes me back to better times when my back didn't hurt and my hair was one color. Thank you, Brandon. That's good shit. That's it. Okay, thank you everybody for all your submissions. We'll get to a few more of them on the Rambling Idiot next week in our Left Blover segment. But let's move on and get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. It is Play One, Remake One, Erase One. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our Patreons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. And as always, there is no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get to that in just a second. This week we're talking Star Wars, so I went with 3 more Starry War-y games. We have Super Star Wars for the Super Nintendo, Star Wars Rogue Leader Rogue Squadron 2 on the GameCube, and Star Wars Episode 1 Racer for the Nintendo 64. The votes were very close. It was all over the place. Nobody ran away, but 29% said play Rogue Squadron 2, remake Super Star Wars, and erase Episode 1 Racer. So let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Coach Huzz said play Racer. It's a nice little hit of nostalgia, but it's kind of a product of its time. It doesn't deserve a remake. Remake Rogue Leader. I would sell my non-existent Firstborn for a new Rogue Squadron. This was the first game I owned for my GameCube. My favorite part of Star Wars is the ships, and a new version with updated visuals and controls would be amazing. And erase Super Star Wars. We have a lot of great single-player Star Wars games like KOTOR and Jedi Fallen Order, and this one won't be missed. I don't agree with your order, Coach Huzz, but that is sound logic the whole way around. Minus maybe saying Episode 1 Racer doesn't deserve a remake, but sound logic, no problem there. Joystick Cowboy said I'd play Episode 1 Racer because I never played it before, and playing an old bad game can be entertaining. It's like crappy old movies. It's not a bad game. I'd remake Super Star Wars because that game was awesome, and a remake with today's graphics and controls would be the bee's knees. And although I love Rogue Squadron 2, someone's got to go, and we've had plenty of Star Wars games since that scratch that itch. Yeah, fair enough. See, like, there really is no wrong answers this week. Other than some of you need to put a little bit of respect on Episode 1 Racer's fucking name, but I like it. Soda Popinski said, hey, Mr. Blanket, first time on Patreon, huge fan, long time listener. If I'm not on double secret probation because of my name, then I will be by the end of this. Oh, you are for that fucking name. I'd remake Super Star Wars, give it a Star Wars Survivor look, and make the game look just like the movie. Also, on that note, I'm sure my cousin would buy it and rage at every boss fight like he did when we were younger, which would bring a smile to my face. I'd play Rogue Leader. It doesn't need much of a change the way they had space look and all the ships was cool in my opinion. And I delete Episode 1 Racer. The game was crap. I feel like it didn't capture what they were aiming for, and he can eat my ass like Donatello. You wish Donatello would eat your ass. Donatello could build a machine to eat your ass. You fucking Soda Popinski. Fuck, I hate that guy. Subdued. I love that name. Said play Super Star Wars because it looked fun and the other two would make me throw up. Remake Rogue Leader because it looks rad and I'd shag Jabba the Hutt. Before I erase... Oh, I see. I'd shag Jabba the Hutt before I erase a GameCube game over a 64 game. That's fair. And then finally erase Episode 1 Racer because Jabba the Hutt's the type of guy that smells like cigarettes and make me do all the work. Racer is the only one I've played and it was good, but not that good. Subdued. You got a thing for Jabba there, buddy. And then Mike Dobson said, play Episode 1 Racer. I'm not a big racing game fan, but this was actually pretty fun. I agree with that whole sentence. Remake Rogue Squadron 2 as it was decent, but could be awesome with some updated love juice. And erase Super Star Wars because we already have so many badass games. Why the fuck would we keep this one, which sucks in comparison to the rest? Because it's a goddamn Super Nintendo game, Mike Dobson, and you show the Super Nintendo some respect. I'm going with 12% of you this week, including Da Tummy Tickla, my favorite name to say, Da Tummy Tickla, who said, play Super Star Wars. The nostalgia I have for this unbelievably difficult game is crazy. I have spent hours playing this in my childhood, and I don't think I will ever beat it. I'll remake Racer since it's really the only Star Wars racing game we have, and it was fun. Probably look amazing on current-gen consoles. That leaves Rogue Squadron to be erased for time forever. It was fun, but we have Battlefront and Squadrons now. It really wouldn't be worth the remake, and I can't get rid of Super Star Wars. Different reasoning, but same order. I myself will play Super Star Wars because I never have, and I love me some classic retro games. I'd remake Episode 1 Racer because I think that game could fucking fly on the PS5 Series X. It'd be fucking gross. And I'm going to erase Rogue Squadron 2 because I rarely erase stuff I haven't played, but Starfield is proving what I've already felt with Star Wars, Fox, and everything else. I really just don't like ship shooting games. Like, they just don't do it for me at all. So I'm erasing that and playing the classics. Thank you, everybody that wrote in this week, as always. Let's pause. We'll get a quick word in from our sponsor. I'll tell you what I've been playing, and we'll get into the Jedi Academy talk. We'll be right back after this. We've had some great partners over the years here at Remember the Game, but I don't know if any of them have hit home for me quite like Hometown Hero does. No pun intended. Don't start. It's a transparent, honest cannabis company that helps people and gives back to those that have served their country at the same time. I mean, come on. As soon as I read about these guys, I knew I wanted to work with them. Hometown Hero is a cannabis company out of Austin, Texas, and they were founded back in 2015 by a U.S. veteran. They have two goals: create premium hemp products that can help everyone, and to support veterans by donating a portion of those profits to organizations set up to take care of those who have served. Hometown Hero products are of the highest quality, and everything they offer is made right there in the U.S. of A. Gummies, caramels, chocolates, drink mix. There's something for everyone. And what's more, their hemp is grown locally in Texas, which is something they should and do take a lot of pride in. And they offer certificates of analysis for everything they sell because they want to be clear that their products are as advertised, both in terms of potency and ingredients. No contaminants, you get what you pay for. Just how they conduct business is enough to get my good eyes' attention, but when you circle back to the fact that the company was founded by a veteran and they put such heavy emphasis on supporting veterans, this isn't just lip service. I'm not reading a script I was given here. I'm proud to have Hometown Hero associated with Remember the Game. Reclaim your evening. Visit hometownhero.com and use code RTG to take 20% off your first purchase. That's hometownhero.com, code RTG for 20% off your first purchase. This is an ad by BetterHelp. A band once said, "Work sucks, I know." And I think most people agree with them. Workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing higher than normal levels of stress from their jobs. And while walking away from your job might not be an option, taking a little time every day to focus on yourself and your mental health can make a huge difference. I know in the summer I try to get outside every day, get a little bit of sun, and just enjoy the outdoors. It really helps. At least until my allergies attack, and then it's ugly. It's important to take steps to combat work stress, and therapy can be a huge one. It's not just for overcoming trauma. Therapy can help you define work goals, set some work boundaries, develop coping skills. It's like a cheat code for life. And if you're thinking, man, I'm too busy for therapy, well, look into BetterHelp. They make therapy as convenient as possible. You can meet with one of their over 30,000 therapists online and on your schedule, just like over 5 million people around the world already have done. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right, what have I been playing over the last week? A lot. I've been playing a lot of video games lately. I've been playing Star Wars Jedi Academy, as you're about to hear. I've been playing Wario Land 4 for the GBA. That's probably going to be next week's episode. Spoiler, that game's fucking dope. I really like it. I've been playing F-Zero 99. I still can't fucking win. I'm so close, it makes me crazy. I like it, but I am getting bored. We need some new tracks. We need new tracks. And then I've been playing the living shit out of Starfield, which I'll be reviewing on Expansion Pass next month, guaranteed. I like some of it, I love some of it, and I hate some of it. It's all over the map. Let's talk Jedi Academy. That's why you're here. I like I don't really hate anything about this game. Minus that one speed bike level. It can suck my dick. But the rest of the game is pretty dope. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off on the game we're covering before my guests and I hog the microphone. Let's see what a few of you had to say here. Darth Skywalter said one of the best Star Wars games out there. And the lightsaber mechanics. Don't even start me on those. Probably the best of the bunch in this aspect. Alongside KOTOR and the Rogue Squadron games, this was the best era to be a Star Wars fan and gamer. You know, I was saying that to Tyler and Vic on the show this week. I didn't play any of these when they came out. You Star Wars fans were eating good in the early 2000s. Jesus, man. Frosty Bear said, I did so many runs for this one. Light powers, dark powers, mixed, loads of fun. However, I've always preferred Jedi Knight 2's storytelling, as in Jedi Knight 3, the missions felt like fetch quests a bit, with little to no relation between most of them. But Jedi Knight 3 was a bit better in the lightsaber fight department, including the introducing dual sabers and two-bladed sabers into the mix. Back in the day, I used to connect to multiplayer saber-only matches, and there was a community of people where in-game you'd sit in a circle watching two masters duel, then a new duel would start. It really was a weapon for a more civilized age. I gotta say, like, I'm terrible with the lightsaber in this game, but it is absolutely the star of the show. It's fucking dope. It feels so good. Inanimate Carbon Rod, the hero we all need, said, my personal favorite Star Wars game of all time. I fire it up from time to time now and still get goosebumps from the lightsaber battles. The customization in this game was on point. It felt like the developer said, here's a big Star Wars sandbox, go play. I don't disagree with any of that. High Scores, High Stakes podcast said, a great game for so many reasons. The customization, the story, and the lightsaber action. I spent too many hours 1v1ing people in multiplayer on this one. Man, I feel like I missed out not playing this multiplayer. And Pegarino said, finally, a game I can comment on. I had this game as a kid, but our family computer was way too underpowered to play it. Fucking PCs. It took forever to load, and many of the levels just wouldn't work. Lucky for me, you didn't have to beat every level in each world, if you will. So I would have to pick the ones that would work and deal with the crashes that still happen. I distinctly remember having to stare at the ground in parts of the sandworm level so it wouldn't crash. It sort of became a game in itself. 10 out of 10 lightsabers would recommend. Fuck Josh, though, or whatever his name was, he sucked. His name was Rosh, and he did fucking suck. He's worse than Josh, my brother, who is also evil. I just can't fucking prove it yet. Let's get into it. Let's talk Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. I know that's why you're here. Vic Vinegar, our sponsor this week, is going to come by and say why he loves this game so much. And then Tyler and I are going to take a deep dive into the world of lightsabers. I'm going to cue up some music that hopefully won't get me copyright claimed. And when it stops, we're talking Star Wars Jedi Academy, which originally released on PCs on September 17th, 2003, and then over on the old Xbox on November 18th, 2003. Happy 20th birthday, Jedi Academy. Let's go. All right, so as I said during the intro, this is another one of our Stupid Sexy sponsored episodes. The list is getting smaller. Joining me via the blank phone this week to talk about Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. I hate saying the Jedi twice. We're just going Jedi Academy. It's a longtime supporter of the show and the sponsor of this episode, my man Vic Vinegar, Mr. Vinegar. I like that name. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, actually. I like this game. This is going to be a fun episode. I like this game. Let me ask you out of the top. Do I have to say Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy every time? Or does Jedi Academy make sense?
I've just always referred to it as Jedi Academy. I mean, you look at there's like the whole series of them, but this is really the only one that I think is, absolutely worth playing.
Okay. It's funny because when you recommended this game to me, when I went to buy it, to play it, I saw the Jedi Knight games and I was like, fuck, is this the right one? Or is Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy something different? I didn't play any of these. Like, I didn't know Star Wars till 2 years ago. So I'm like, I feel like a complete noob to these. So you said, I was going to ask you, that was going to be my first question. Is the rest of the series worth playing?
I honestly haven't played it. I mean, I played a little bit of Jedi Outcast, and it was just a little bit, pretty much the same game, but not as good, where I think the Jedi Academy just really was the cleanup point.
Okay.
But that was why I recommended this game for you, is just because I think this is, between this and KOTOR, they really kicked off like the golden years of Star Wars games. So I just wanted to like get you in on the where it all kind of started, since you've already played KOTOR.
Yeah, dude, I gotta say now, between this and KOTOR, now that I'm looking into some of the other games, like, I really wish I was a Star Wars fan back in the original Xbox era, because fuck me, Xbox brought the heat with Star Wars. Like, I know other franchise had them, but holy God, there's a lot of Star Wars games on this thing. Fucking crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
So let's get the party started then. I want to know, why did you pick this game? Where are you with Star Wars? Are you a Star Wars? I assume you're a Star Wars fan. Why Star Wars Jedi Academy?
So actually, I was not like a huge Star Wars fan growing up. This was just one of the, I think to me, this was the first like 3D game I ever had on PC.
Okay.
My family, we grew up with the Windows 3.1 up until like 2003, 2004. And I remember going to a friend's house and seeing this game. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I didn't know we could have like 3D games. So I wanted to, like, this was where I wanted to start. And so then once we finally upgraded, my parents, I saved up my allowance, got the game, only to find out that the we didn't have the minimum requirements for it to work on the PC, so I just was stuck reading the manual for a couple months until I could save up enough to get a new graphics card.
Fuck me. For the record,
So-
just for the record, for anybody that's like, why don't you play more PC games? What Vic just said, that's why. Because when I was a kid, I bought a couple of PC games for our family PC and then found out I couldn't play them and didn't understand why. And I was like, fuck this. I'm going to my systems where the game for the system. I don't want to get into a PC debate. I'm just saying that's why I don't play them. Because that drives me crazy. That must have been infuriating.
It was, but I think that's what like really drew me to the PC was I learned a lot more about PCs as a result of it.
Sure.
So like our problem was we didn't like the minimum requirement was 32 megabytes for the graphics card, which is just seems crazy these days, but even crazier, our computer only had 4 megabytes. So it was like I learned that was like something you could upgrade. I as a kid you're just like, oh, like we didn't buy the right computer, so I guess never gonna get to play this. But
Right.
Then once I learned like, oh hey, like computers are something you can upgrade, and then I'll also get into it a little bit later too of like cheats were like a really big part of this game, which kind of taught me more of like, hey, like you can manipulate, games or programs like and actually like start to code stuff. So I think that kind of had a little bit of an influence on my overall perception of the PC.
It's fucking wild because, like, we're going to talk about this, and I feel like you and I had complete opposite. Like, I played this for the first time in the last 2 weeks. I played the original Xbox version, and I thought it was neat. And you're like, well, I played it back in the day, but I played it on PC and was in there, like, tinkering with it and couldn't. And I bet you probably played a lot of multiplayer, didn't you?
I didn't. So
okay. All right.
We were, like I say, because we were so late to upgrade the computer, and we were out in the middle of the country, so it didn't have decent internet. It was still like dial up until maybe like 2007, 2008 for us.
Okay.
So it was a while.
Okay, that makes me.
So I played almost exclusively single player.
Okay, that makes me feel better. For anyone that wants multiplayer talk, my buddy Tyler's coming on later, and he's all about the multiplayer. So I promise we'll get to both because I've never even touched the multiplayer. Okay, so when you finally were able to play this fucking game, what is it about it that made you like it so much?
Well, like I say, I mean, I was drawn to it because it was like my first 3D game, so it was just kind of like everything just felt so realistic. But I mean, even looking back at like comparing it to other games at the time, like it did cool stuff that I think was like really like innovative for its time. Like you had, I don't know if you noticed in like the very first like tutorial level where it's like raining and you got like rain that's like steaming off of your lightsaber. It just felt like really realistic at the time. And then like you can like cut people's arms off and you leave like burn marks on the wall. So that was like really just, I don't know, mind-blowing at the time for me.
Totally. Dude, it blew my mind in 2023, for fuck's sakes. I'm like playing it, and everyone was telling me that like the big draw of this game is the lightsaber mechanics, and I started playing it, and it's fucking wild. Your lightsaber literally cinches like everything it touches. Like you said, you cut people's arms off. It seems like you have a lot of control over it. I'm not very good at combat with it, but I thought fighting other people with lightsabers was cool. I legitimately think that's the coolest part of the game. The lightsabers are fucking insane. Like, you have guns, but I don't want to fucking use them. I want to use this lightsaber. It's fucking wild.
Oh yeah, like as a kid, sometimes I would play, just go through a whole run through with the guns, but most of the time it always resorted back to the lightsaber.
Yeah.
But I think that was what. So I tried it on PlayStation because I figured you were gonna play it on console, so I just wanted to kind of get an idea of what the controls were like, and I definitely prefer the PC controls on this. It was during a weird era where like WASD was starting to become like the standard of like computer controls, but there were still like these few computer games where like the arrow keys and the numpad were like primary. And so I actually remember playing this on with the arrow keys and then having all the different force powers like key bound to the numpad, so you could just quickly change between your force abilities and do all sorts of stuff with that. Whereas like on I played it on the PlayStation, but the PlayStation controller where I'm like trying to switch with the arrows to get the force just where I wanted it to. Like I tried playing on the Pro controller, and that helped a lot, but I could see where this would be a struggle going through like the old-fashioned way.
See, that's interesting because I wanted to. Okay, so like as far as the powers go, like on the Xbox at least, like I could map 3, like to the 2 shoulder buttons and then to the X button, and I found that I only really used 3 most of the time, other than like the occasional like pull or push to solve puzzles and stuff. Like I kept using my healing ability, I kept using my shield ability, and I kept using the lightning ability. But I wanted so you could map as many force powers as you wanted.
Yeah, so you could have it like, or I don't remember exactly how it worked. I think it was just like you'd press it and it would switch to that one quickly, and then you would press whatever button it was to use the force. But I mean, you could just kind of quickly like press whatever button you wanted, and you have like 9 different force powers, like pretty much on hand, ready to go.
You fucking spoiled PC bastards with all your how'd the lightsaber control then? Because on Xbox, it was like whatever way I pushed the analog stick and then hit the button, I would swing it in a different like way or direction.
And that one, if I recall correctly, it was related to like what buttons you're pushing on the mouse and like where you're holding the arrow key. So I remember like the lightsaber combat being a lot easier when you were doing it with the mouse and keyboard.
Sure.
Just because it was like, I think with the analog sticks, it's kind of, well, it's sort of pointing upwards. So like we're going to assume you're pointing up, and I'm like, no, I wanted it to go left or whatever.
Right. Dude, it's funny you say.
I did have some struggles with that, but
well, it's funny you bring up the difficulty because, like, I don't know about you, dude. Like, I'm assuming you've played through this game many, many times. I'm in like the middle of the 3rd set of missions right now, and I am fucking like I'm fucked. I can't win. I don't know if I'm not good or if it got like I feel like the spikes and like people have told me you can cheat and just choke guys and beat them, but I don't want to do that. I feel like the difficulty, like the first set of missions, it's like baby's first game, and by the 3rd set of missions, it's fucking Dark Souls. Or maybe I just suck. I don't know. Did you find it hard?
Well, so it definitely was hard, and you bring up the cheating, and I think this is one of those games where it was like it not only allowed but like encouraged that you cheat. Like, so I even thought it was funny that you look at the set of trophies on the PlayStation. If you want to get like the platinum trophy, you actually have to cheat to get the platinum trophy.
So yeah, clearly they were like, that's part of it.
So, and that was what I was saying, like where I liked, learning about it, where it was like you open up the console and it's like the cheat code to get started was like, help us Obi-Wan. So it's like they knew when they were making the game, like people are going to cheat on this. And it was just, you could go through and like add health or put yourself on like a god mode, or some of the jumping could get ridiculous. So it's like, okay, well, I'll just set my force ability to jump, like, so I'm not taking so much fall damage.
Yeah.
So I mean, like as a kid, I would say like it was hard as a kid, and I remember cheating, or like hell, you could even use the cheats just to get a red lightsaber, which was cool
right
at its time. But and then what else are you saying? You're saying so.
I was basically saying that I fucking
as far
suck
as
at
like
this
the
game.
difficulty, I think some of the difficulty too came from like there's so many different force options where you're wanting to like try them all out, that if you don't like really build up the right ones, you can really fuck yourself later.
Yeah.
So
dude,
like,
yeah, agree. Sorry, go ahead. I agree. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that like I thought it was so cool that like every time you finish a mission, you get to pick one of these like light or dark side like force powers to level up. But I feel like you said, if you decided to just pick all 8 and level each one up one at a time, I feel like you'd be fucked. Like the game is really, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like the game expects you to choose a build and like focus on a few abilities. And I gotta say, as someone that loves the dark side and always wants to play dark side, I found the dark side powers a little wanting. My opinion, I don't know. But maybe
really, I thought they were a bit overpowered myself. I liked them more than the light side powers.
Okay, then there we go. That's what I wanted to know. What powers do you like then? If you're playing a game right now, like what are you leveling up? What are you going with?
So, I think you really fuck yourself if you don't level up like some sort of health at the beginning. Like, I will say the light side way of getting health is a lot easier. Like, you can do like the force drain or whatever it was, and like basically suck the life out of somebody and, you know, put it into your own health. That just seemed like a lot of work. So like, yeah, getting your own health was fine, but the lightning I always thought was the most overpowered. Like, you could just level that up and then just run, like just blast through, zap as many enemies as you can, just wait to recharge it and then go again.
Yeah, I will say toward the end of the game I was leveling up the lightning, and yeah, it was a godsend. But the whole like, because the first ability I chose was the ability to like choke health out of your opponent, because I thought that was so cool. And then I was like, this fucking takes forever. And fuck this, because the other one, like the light side healing, you can just like run off and hit it, and like within 2 seconds your health is full. You can come back and fight again. But that lightning is
right.
That lightning's OP as fuck. That lightning's dope. What else is there? Sorry, go ahead. Was there any other abilities that you were gung ho on? Apparently the choke was good. I never used the choke.
The choke was okay. Yeah, I mean, it is fun just to push people over and then just do that little jumping stab on the ground. But I mean, that one just gets leveled up as you go along anyways. But I mean, that's what I like about the game, is it's just like, you read through people's comments and it's just whatever. Everybody had like their own different build of what worked for them.
Yeah.
So I think that was like kind of what was great about this game, was like the uniqueness. How it was like you really built the character that you wanted. And I think that was also like, you know, stepping back even a little further, where this was like one of the first games I remember where you could actually like customize your character, and, you know, you get to customize what your lightsaber looks like, and just a lot of different things that you could do to make your character as close to what you wanted as possible.
Totally. I thought that was really dope. Being able to design your lightsaber, and then later in the game being able to choose between like the dual lightsabers or whatever, and then your force powers. And like, I was playing it, and again, these first missions are so easy, and I'm like, man, there's not a lot of meat on this bone. But then when I started getting deeper into the game and realizing, like, oh man, depending on how you built, and I think it justifies multiple replays for sure. Not even to mention some of the choices you make toward the end of the game, which I will say, I'm curious what you thought. I thought it would have been cool if like the powers you leveled up as you went through like impacted, like at the end of the game, if I'm not mistaken, you could have like gone nothing but light powers, and then at the end of the game chose the dark side, right? I think.
Yeah, you could.
Right.
And
minor thing, but
yeah. So it was like I agree with that. Like, nowadays I would 100% want that. I think at the time, especially as a kid, where I was like, I want to make sure I go the right way I want to go with this playthrough, is nice, because it just tells you, like, if you do this, you're gonna, like, if you kill Rosh, you're gonna go dark side, and if save him, then you're going to go light side for the rest of this playthrough.
Yeah, you know what? Fair. I'll redact that point, because you're right. Playing it, I'm like, man, I wish that the decisions I made impacted it. But you're right. At the end of the game, it's like, fuck, I wanted to see this ending or this ending. It's nice that you can just... It's almost like a choose-your-own-adventure book. They're just blatantly telling you, like, hey, you can do this or this, whatever you want.
Well, and it only boils down to, like, basically 1 or 1.5 like missions that you actually end up doing on the dark side or light side at the end. So it's not like super impactful. So honestly, like, you could just make a save point right before making that decision and then just go play through the other, so you don't have to replay the entire game.
Yeah, totally. It's not I'm not dunking on it at all, but it's, as far as that goes, it's not as deep as like KOTOR is. But it's not the same kind of game as KOTOR is either, so.
No, and I think that is where, like, this game lacks, is the storyline for sure. But I mean, you bring up KOTOR, and it was like, I looked up the release dates on these, and I do remember, like, as a kid seeing it in the stores, where KOTOR came out literally only 2 months before this game. So, if you didn't buy KOTOR, you bought this game.
Sure.
So it was one or the other. So you could get the story. And that was why I ultimately ended up picking this over KOTOR, was because it was like, do I really want to, like, I was young. I just wanted to run around swinging a lightsaber. I'm like, I don't want to read. I don't want to listen to a story or anything like that. I just want to kill people.
No, I get
with
that.
a lightsaber.
Yeah, KOTOR's dope, but KOTOR's a big plate of food. This one's a little bit easier to digest for sure. Man, what?
But I mean, it's like it's not the most. Oh, go ahead.
No, by all means.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's not the most like twisting story. Like you can immediately tell that Rosh is gonna go to the dark side. I just want to slap the shit out of this guy the second he starts talking.
Dude, that first training mission, and he unleashes that bot on you, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I thought I could slow you down," and it's like, you're fucked. Why is this guy here? This guy's kill him. This guy's a problem.
Oh yeah, and then one of my favorite lines is him going through like, "Oh, you ever just like feel like you're just like too strong?" And like, yeah, this guy's 100% going to the dark side.
Yeah, I agree. Like I don't need the greatest story ever told in my game, but I was like, you couldn't have hidden this heel turn a little bit. Like I would have been shocked if he didn't go to the dark side. That would have been the twist. It's like, no, he's a really well-meaning.
Can I
go ahead?
I'm just like, can I still kill this guy either way and still go to the light side?
Yeah, I fucking hated that guy. I thought the rest of I thought the concept of it was pretty cool though. That like Luke Skywalker like recruits you and you join his academy and you start out as like a rookie and level up to this like total badass like Jedi Knight. I thought that was, and I could have swore it was Mark Hamill doing the voice of Luke too. I was blown away that it wasn't. I was really shocked. I thought that was all really cool.
Yeah, and I like the concept of it too, where, like you say, you get to kind of just you feel like you're learning how to be a Jedi, sort of thing.
And those early levels might be easy, but I think they do a phenomenal job of you feel like a fucking Jedi. Like in those early levels when you're just going through fucking up stormtroopers and stuff, you're like, I'm a beast. This is sick. I love that. I loved that. Yeah, I don't know. It's a neat fucking game, man. Is there okay, so then I'll ask you then, did you go light or dark side at the end? First time?
I think first time I went dark side just because I wanted to see what I think my hope was that you would get a red lightsaber. Like as a kid, I was like, oh, that's the cool lightsaber. I want that. And then I was disappointed to realize you don't actually get a red lightsaber unless you go and put a cheat in. And so I do remember looking that up on the internet as a kid, like, well, where's my red lightsaber? Why doesn't it change color for me? But
yeah, I would have.
Then that was kind of when I discovered the whole cheat thing. So that kind of it still led into that.
So then can I ask, like, what did you do with the cheats? I'm curious what you were able to do other than a red lightsaber, which is the most important one for sure.
Yeah, so then it was good for like doing other run-throughs where like you could play through the whole game like in a weekend of just, put all your force powers maxed out, have it to where they don't do any damage to you, so you could just run through, it was just fun to just run, like I say, just run through swinging a lightsaber. That was what made the game so good, was just like being able like to like the lightsaber combat. That was like the primary draw to this game. Yeah,
dude. Those fights when you're like fighting somebody else with a lightsaber, and like I love that it like there's some of those fights where I would win them in like 5 seconds, some of those fights where I'd lose them in like 5 seconds. I love watching the lightsabers like when you clash with each other and you're like mashing the button and trying to like overpower each other. And then when they start using the Jedi powers at you, like throwing lightning at you and stuff, I thought those were the highlights of the game. Hardest parts of the game, but the coolest parts of the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I 100% agree.
Fuck, what have we missed? I can't believe we've been talking for 20 minutes already. Fuck me. What have we missed? Is there like, I understand why you picked this game because you like, is this your favorite Star Wars game?
Honestly, I don't even think, I listed them out and it just barely breaks the top 5 for me.
What?
Actually.
Wow. I haven't played a lot.
But
so
I mean, I think that's
Go ahead.
I think that's why it's a testament to like the golden years of Star Wars games. So
sure.
Like, I would put Fallen Order as my first, just because I think it does a similar job to what this game did, but like the lightsaber combat is a little prettier. You get a little bit more like solid controls, I think.
Yeah, better story.
And then obviously the story is you actually have a story.
Fallen Order is sick. Yeah.
Then Republic Commando and Battlefront were both very solid. And those came out like shortly after Jedi Academy. So
Okay.
if there's any recommendation on where to go next from this game, like Republic Commando is a very solid storyline. It's a first-person shooter, though. So
Okay.
half a dozen, one the other. But like I say, I think it's a testament to just how good some of these Star Wars games are. Is that, like, I still enjoy this game, but it's still like barely in my top 5.
Yeah, that's like, as someone that's kind of still new to Star Wars, the only Star Wars games I've played are this, KOTOR, Fallen Order, and I think Episode 1 Racer. And I guess this would probably be number 3 for me. I would put KOTOR and Fallen Order ahead of it. But you're right. Like, none of them are bad. Dude, Star Wars fans, like, I understand you all hated all the movies you were getting in this era, but fuck me, were your video games top shelf. Jesus, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Fuck. I can't think of like a franchise I like this much where I wish we were getting more. Maybe Simpsons. Like, I wish Simpsons were getting good games like this. Fuck me. We were getting fucking Road Rage and shit. Actually, Road Rage isn't bad. But anyways. That's wild, man. Holy fuck. What a great game. I got to play more of these now. What a great fucking game. Is there anything, before we wrap this up and you give me a scoring scale, is there anything that your world's listening, is there anything about this game that you didn't get a chance to talk about yet that you want to rant or praise?
I think we covered just about everything I had written down for this. I don't see anything
good
going through my notes. Looks like we got to all of it.
Fuck yeah. I mean, like I said, for all of you who want multiplayer talk, Tyler's going to carry the ball for that. Because clearly Vic is a man after my own heart. I want to be left the fuck alone. Just let me play my games and fuck up the computer until the computer gets too hard and then I rage quit and bitch on the internet. I don't know if you do that, but that's what I
feel you, man.
Yeah. All right. Then
I'm with you.
Fuck me, dude. Those third missions, I was like, I want to go back to level 1 and just beat everybody again.
Yeah.
Have you got an idea for a scoring scale? I believe you do.
Yes. So I was going to do it on a scale of 1 to 32 megabytes that it takes to run this game, megabytes of graphics that it takes to run this game.
What are you going to give it?
Oh, go ahead. If I had to give it, I would say probably about a 27. The storyline is what really draws it back for me. And I think it didn't age quite as well as, the nostalgia glasses really played on it, but overall still a very, very solid game.
I have to say, first of all, I love that scoring scale because you managed to sneak a fucking PC scoring scale into my show and there's nothing I can do about it. And I like the story. I like the story behind it that I'm like, all right, I'll let that stand. And number 2, bro, a lot of people were telling me, they're like, fuck, I hope it's aged well. I hope it's aged well. I got to say, as someone that never played it until now, I thought it aged just fine. I thought it was, it definitely looks like a 20-year-old game, but I have no problem with that. I thought it aged great. I thoroughly enjoyed this game. I thought it was really cool. I have yet to play a bad Star Wars game. I'm sure they're coming. Have you, before we wrap this up, have you played a bad one? Is there like a Star Wars game you'd be like, don't play this? Just curious.
I think the worst I played was maybe like Episode 3 on the Nintendo DS. And I mean, even that was honestly not bad.
Oh, okay.
I would play that again. So
all right. Well, it's funny that because that's how I describe Episode 3. I'm like, it's not that bad. I would watch it again. I like it. I don't know. I like Episode 3. People yell at me for it. I hate 1 and 2, but I like Episode 3.
Unpopular opinion, I actually like the prequels. So
really, like you like 1 and 2 as well?
I don't think they're bad. I mean, obviously the acting is bad, but I think that what they're trying to accomplish, I look at what it's actually trying to like accomplish in the overarching thing. Sure. But yeah, not the best production, I would say, but
wow,
they were going for something different.
Yeah, fair enough. I get nervous talking Star Wars with people that I've seen every movie one time. And, like, I don't know that much about them, so I get nervous whenever I tread into these waters because I'm like, people are going to unload on me. But, all right, fair enough. Because I want to rewatch 1 and 2 to see if they're as bad as I remember. Because I liked 3, so I'm like, maybe 1 and 2 aren't that bad. I hated that fucking Binks guy or whatever the fuck he is.
Oh, Jar Jar Binks is the best.
Oh,
are you kidding? No,
are you kidding? Oh, I was like, I'll ban this fucking episode right now. All right. Jar Jar Binks is the Mark McHugh of Star Wars characters. Never getting into the Hall of Fame. I shouldn't say that. That's not fair to Mark or Jar Jar. But anyway, fuck yeah, Vic, dude. I want to say thank you so much for. I never would have played this game if you hadn't told me to. So thank you for doing that, and thank you so much for your patience, because I know it took about a year to get to this. So I appreciate you waiting as long as you did. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. This has been great. I'm glad you got to play something you enjoyed. And like I say, what prompted me to sponsor this was your Portal episode. So
fuck yeah,
glad you played that as well.
Yeah, buddy. No, I'm loving discovering these like great games that I missed out on. Like every time I try a new game for the first time, I'm like, I hope this like maybe this is one of the ones that ends up being like one of my favorite games ever. And you never know, and sometimes they don't. Looking at you, Metal Gear Solid 3, but sometimes they do, and it's good times. So great talking to you, brother. Thank you so much for doing this.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, so part 2 of talking Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. I fucking hate that name. It's Jedi Academy. That's what we're calling it. I'm not using all the other fucking words. And joining me, fortunately, my guest this week has a very short name, which makes up for the obnoxiously long name of this game. Joining me to talk Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy is Tyler.
Hey,
see that?
what's going on? Yep.
Tyler, great name. I'm so glad
Simple.
Your name isn't Star Wars Farm Quest Tyler McDougal III or some shit.
Well, fun fact, I've changed my name recently. The license reads.
I've never met a good McDougal. I don't know if we have anyone listening to this name McDougal, but I don't think I've ever met.
They're not
McDougal.
listening anymore.
Yeah, I just lost those listeners. And as I'm sure you all know by now, we're talking Star Wars Jedi Academy. Spoilers. We already spoiled some stuff. We're going to spoil a little bit more. It's honestly not that much. I'm going to put okay, first of all, Tyler, I want to know about your experiences with this game. I'm just going to say I've played this for the first and only time over the last 2 weeks. Cool game. Holds up fairly well. It was fun. Story, neat enough. Nothing to write home about. I'm not too worried about spoilers. But I assume you played this prior to the past 2 weeks like me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I played it back in, when did it come out? Like 2003, 2004, something like that?
I got it right here. 2003. Yes.
All right. Yeah. I played it way back then. And like back then.
That's 20 years. My God.
Yes,
It's almost,
yes.
it's like 20 years this week. Sorry. Wow.
And
All right,
it's like, and it legit holds up. Like I just played it recently, and the graphics are dated, but for overall, it is like feels Star Wars. You feel like you're ripping around, feel like you're an adventure, and if you can go through the painstaking process of getting the multiplayer working, it is a hoot. And it was probably one of the first great Star Wars multiplayer experiences.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to pick your brain on that because I'm sure, as you can all imagine, old shut-in has no friends Adam did not play any multiplayer at all. I play by myself. Leave me alone. But I do agree on that though. It did hold up. Like it looked a little blocky, a little old, but like that's it's a 20-year-old game. It is a little blocky. It is a little old. I gotta say, dude. Like I played the Xbox version. You played on PC, but like I didn't know anything of Star Wars during the original Xbox era. Like I'd never seen one. I knew it existed. I knew that, Luke, I am your father, but I knew nothing of it. Now I wish I had because admittedly, I've played our KOTOR, this one, and Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, but like Star Wars fans were fucking eating good when it came to games back in this era. Jesus Christ. Makes up for the movies.
Yeah, I mean, and this is when, Phantom Menace came out in 99, something like that. Right when I got in high school, I think, is when that movie came out. And this is the first time that you had seen, like, a real lightsaber battle. Like you see Luke and whatever in the first 3 movies that came out, and it's like, it's okay. But they didn't have the technology. It wasn't like you had these choreographers, coming up with these huge battles. Like I remember seeing videos of behind the scenes where they're bending these aluminum rods where they're practicing, and these guys are going nuts.
Sure.
Right. This was the first game that was like, okay, you've now seen in Phantom Menace the Duel of Fates, the like most epic lightsaber battle ever. I think at this point too, Clone Wars? It wasn't Clone Wars, but the Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones, yeah.
Yeah, Attack of the Clones had come out. So you'd also not only seen the best lightsaber battle ever in cinema, you've now seen thousands of Jedis battling thousands of robots on this epic scale. And this was the first game to have a feeling of that scale. and that feeling of like epic battles, epic lightsaber battles. Like,
Totally. Yeah. No, I agree. It's funny too because like when I announced that I was playing this one to get ready for the show, I had a lot of people be like, "Oh, I hope the lightsaber holds up. I hope the lightsaber mechanics hold up." And I don't know how it plays in like I think there's like some remasters of this out. I played just the original Xbox game on my Xbox Series X, and I thought the lightsabers like I think that's the star of the show here is the lightsabers. I know you can use guns. I don't know what it's like in
yeah,
the multiplayer, but I only use the guns basically to take down like the flying enemies in this game. Like
you
I had no interest in using the guns. It's all about the lightsabers.
yeah. So in the like multiplayer, there's like a I don't know, it's a sniper rifle or whatever. I don't know what to
Yeah.
call it. I like Star Wars, but I'm not
No,
memorizing
that's fine.
the
Yeah,
name of every gun.
dude,
But
I don't
there's
even
like
know
a
the I don't know the name of the species that I was. So like I don't know any. So like it's Star Wars fans don't get mad at me when the facts are off because I'm
we all
trying.
know you were a female Twi'lek. You
I
can't
was a
fool us.
female, the one with the two horns that come out your back or out of the top of your head and go down, like the blue.
Yeah, of Twi'lek.
Oh shit,
I
I was a
called it
female Twi'lek. Wow.
because
Yes,
every nerd is a female Twi'lek.
they're the coolest looking people. Anyway, go
That's
ahead.
right.
I'm sorry.
Um, yeah, so in the multiplayer you would use the guns, but what's wild too is like the switch between first person and third person. Like I haven't played a lot of games that play like that. I know some games have it so you can play third person, but it's predominantly a first person game. Or like
Sure.
Player Unknown's Battlegrounds has like a first person mode, but everybody's stuck in first person, or a third
Yeah, yeah,
person
yeah.
mode where everybody's in third person. It's not like a switch, right?
Right.
This was one of the first ones where it like switched and like switched because of the mechanics of what you were using. Like if you were using a blaster versus a lightsaber.
Yeah,
So I thought
the
that was wild.
lightsaber wouldn't. I don't even know if you could use the lightsaber in first person. I don't think you could. I think it just switched based on your weapons. The lightsaber in first person wouldn't have worked as well. Like
No,
you
it
had to
would
be
give
able to
you a
see everything around
seizure.
you.
It'd
Yeah.
give you
Oh
a
yeah.
seizure.
Yeah, you're right. The flashing lights going back
Oh
and forth
yeah.
in front of you. Totally. But yeah, everyone was telling me like, hope the lightsabers are hold up, and I thought the lightsaber's the start of the show of this game because like everyone knows it's like the coolest weapon, and using it in this game, it's not just the combat and fighting each other, but like when you're walking, anything your lightsaber touches, it's like burning, like lighting it up, burning, like singeing holes in it. And dude, at the very beginning of the game where you crash your ship in the woods with Rosh or whatever his name is,
Yep.
I accidentally killed him with my lightsaber. I think
Yeah.
either that or one of the creatures killed him. That is, when I first started playing it, I don't know. But that lightsaber is like it's like don't run with scissors. Like that thing will fuck stuff up. And I liked the amount of control you had in it. And I just thought, yeah, as soon as I started swinging that, I was like, all right, even if the rest of this game sucks, it's pretty dope that you can swing this lightsaber around. And then it helps
Oh
that the
yeah.
rest of the game doesn't suck.
Yeah, you can try to
Um,
write your name in the wall with it.
yeah, yeah, I did. I did try that. Unsuccessfully. But I will say, like, so we'll get into the story and everything, but I will just say initial thoughts here. I thought the lightsaber was cool. I did think the gunplay was nothing to write home about. And I don't
Right, because
think that's so much its age because like Halo was around back then. I think it was just I think it was like they used 5% of the game development pie to the gunplay. In my opinion.
well,
Maybe I didn't use
w-
them enough.
well, especially in this, I just want to like point out that in this it was so like a Jedi Outcast, the game that was before this. I
Yeah.
think the lightsaber comes in at like level 6 or something. So it's like you don't get it till later. So the gunplay was like a huge focus of the first half of the game. Whereas in this,
Oh.
I think the focus was like, oh, we made a mistake with the last game. Everybody just wants a lightsaber. Let's get that shit going right now.
I see. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I'll ask you just quick, not to like we're reviewing Jedi Academy, not any of the other ones, but like are the rest worth playing? Like is this your favorite of the Jedi Knight games? Have you played all
Yeah.
of them?
Yeah, I haven't played all of them. Because I think there's 5 of them, 4 or 5 of them. And like
There's
the first
multiple for sure. Yeah, there's lots.
and the first 2 or 3 like are really dated.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah,
just
this
kind of
is
before I was playing, like I think I was playing a lot of Super Nintendo. I think the first
okay.
3 I don't even know what they were on.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that this is the most recent, right? I believe the last one
Yeah, the
of
last
the
one.
story. Okay. I was just curious because I know some people seem to praise a couple of or sing the praises of a couple of the other ones, and I was like, well, if they're as good as this one, I'm interested.
Yeah, it was
Because
the
I like
first
this
two
stuff.
were Dark Force and Dark Forces 2, which had a expansion called Mysteries of the Sith. And
Okay.
the first one, Dark Force, was on DOS and Macintosh, and then later for PlayStation. Like, I don't think I was playing any of those games.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, I mean, I'll check more of them out at some point eventually. I will
Yeah.
say, and we're gonna get into it now, but like, as far as the single player goes, I liked it. I didn't beat it. I don't know if you've ever beaten it. I just, it gets hard. It gets fucking hard.
Yeah,
Like
and the
unless you
levels
get cheap.
and the levels all scale with you. Like, that's what's great. So you unlock your force jump, and you can jump, a little bit higher, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden you upgrade it, and you can jump the height of a fucking building.
yeah.
So they
Which I,
scale all the levels up. They scale the difficulty up with that too, which I
yeah,
loved. And so all of a sudden you fight one, Sith with the lightsaber, and you whoop his ass in the beginning. Now near the end, you're fighting like 10, depending on
yeah,
what if you go light side or dark side.
yeah.
You could at
I
any one time be fighting 10 force using lightsaber freaking Jedi.
Yeah, and it like I just couldn't beat it. And I was playing on normal, and I just could. I will get it. Okay. So if you've never played it, long and story short, you get to create a character, and it's cool. You get to pick like male or female. You get to pick from, I don't know, a few different races. What'd you say the one was that I went with?
Twi'lek.
Twi'lek. I was like Twi'lek, Twi'lek. So I went Twi'lek because I just think that they're the coolest looking. Those two big horn things coming out of their heads and then going down their backs, like fucking they're the coolest look. And then like, yeah, anyway, I went that way. And then right away, like basically what it is like it picks up. And again, if I get anything wrong, do not hesitate to step in and tell me. This picks up after episode six, which is Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
because
takes
there's a New Hope,
takes place. It takes
Empire Strikes
place.
Back, Return of the Jedi.
I can't remember how many years after.
But like that's where it is.
Because
Like Luke is
so
like a
it
go
takes
ahead.
place 14 years after A New Hope, because A New Hope is where, like, I guess the calendar in Star Wars, they got ABY and BBY. So after Battle of Yavin or some, I don't know, some fucking made up nerd thing.
Okay.
Yavin. After the Battle of Yavin
So,
and before the Battle of Yavin.
I can just hear the Star Wars fans getting. I'm sorry. All right.
Well,
I'm
I
literally
corrected. I at least corrected myself. Like, I'm
yeah.
getting it. I'm getting it. So
Tyler, we're trying.
yeah.
Go ahead.
And like, what we would know is, like, basically they measure time based on when the Death Star was blown up. So
Right.
that's
Okay.
like, there's before the Death Star was blown up and after the Death Star was blown up.
Right.
This game
Okay.
takes place 14 years after the Death Star was blown up, and then like I don't know, 6 or 7 years before the New Order starts, before like the
Okay.
newest films start taking place.
Okay. So yeah, so like when this game picks up, like Luke is like running like a Jedi Academy, hence the name Jedi Academy. And you have the Force, so the Force is within you, or whatever the fuck the term is. So you basically get recruited to like go and become a new Jedi, like in training. And at the beginning of the game, it's you and this fucking dipshit named Rosh. And I have to say, first of all,
Man,
I
hateable
I
character.
oh, I mean, I resent Rosh to begin with because his name is too close to my brother Josh. So right away, I'm like, I don't know if I like you very much. But Rosh is right out of the gate. You do your very first training mission at the academy, and you get split into like two different like courses. And Rosh goes to your course and unleashes like a training droid that almost kills you. And he's like, I was just trying to slow you down. And I'm like, dude, you are AIDS. You are the fucking worst. And as the game goes on, he becomes worse and worse. And it's like the most obvious he's gonna turn on you twist ever. So
What?
yeah, I know,
Spoiler.
right?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah. So that's what I mean when I say that, like, great game. I don't think I thought the concept of it was really cool. Like I was like, holy shit. So now I'm training under Luke Skywalker and I'm gonna become a Jedi, and this is awesome. And it kind of does, but the storyline really isn't anything to write home about.
No, and
So
I mean, it's really linear. One of the things, like, especially like if you compare it to Knights of the Old Republic, like the storyline in
right.
that, in both
Which
those
for the
games, are
record,
so rich and
yeah, for the
so
record,
well thought out.
not going to dunk this game any points because it doesn't stack up against KOTOR as far as story. I'm not holding KOTOR against it. I think KOTOR's still
Oh,
the
and
standard bearer. So I'm not holding that against it. But sorry,
if you
go
look
ahead.
up a list of best Star Wars games, KOTOR, the first KOTOR, not two, but number one, is number one on a lot of people's lists.
Yeah,
The second one's
deservedly
like,
so.
and the second one's like fourth or fifth. Actually, I
Yeah,
think
no.
in a lot of lists, people hold Jedi Academy above the second game, the second Knights of
Right.
the Old Republic.
Right. But yeah, the first one is still like just, oh my God, that fucking,
It's a
I
10
can't wait
out
for
of
the
10.
remake of that fucking game. I love that
Yeah.
game. It is a 10. But this one's still very good. And you mentioned how linear it is. I got to say, one thing I really appreciated about this game, like once you get to the academy and you do your training, basically it's just split into like, it gives you 5 missions that they're, people around the galaxy are calling in for Jedi to help. And you get sent off to these missions, and the missions can vary, and we'll talk about a couple of them. But you have to do at least 4. You can do all 5 because every time you finish a mission, you get to choose one of your force powers to level up.
That's it.
And
So,
then,
and that's what I loved about it. One of the things I loved about it, because there weren't a lot of games that let you do that back in the day, like 20 years ago. There wasn't like a lot of choose your own. The
yeah,
levels themselves were still very linear. You had like one path to take per level, but
yeah,
it very much like Mega Man, like the Mega Man series, like Mega Man X or
sure.
anything like that, where it's like, oh, if I beat this boss, you know, it'll make this next boss easier. If I do this really easy level, I'll get this force power, making this level way easier.
Yeah, and I will say I as someone that generally prefers linear games, I loved like dude, there is very little fat on the bone in this game. Like it is like no minimal cutscenes. Here's like a quick cutscene explaining why you're here. Here comes Rosh. Rosh sucks. Rosh tries to kill you. You finish your training anyway. And then it just goes to like a static screen. Pick one of your 5 missions. They explain what's going on. Boom, you're into the mission. Then you beat the mission. Boom, right back to the mission screen. Boom. I love just the
Yeah.
tightness. And I'm a big little bit of exploration in some of the missions if you want to go looking for like secret areas, but very, very minimal. And I loved how just tight and succinct it was. And then once you finish 4 of the 5 missions, you can do the 5th one if you want. Then you have to do like a big story mission. Then you open up a second set of 5 missions. You have to do at least 4. Do a story mission, then you unlock a third set of 5 missions, and then I assume there's one last one to end the game. I've watched the ending of the game. I have not beaten any of the last 5 missions. I can't beat a
Yeah.
single one.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay, so you've seen what happens in the end, though?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I looked it up. I don't want
Yeah.
anyone to think I didn't
S-
try. I got stuck on I got stuck on the final set of missions for 3 days, and I was like, I'm not good at this. I'm done. Because that's
Yeah.
when you're fighting everyone, like you said, and I can't beat everybody. I gave up. I'm
Yeah.
not good.
But
Go ahead.
but okay, so you get to go to Ragnos' tomb. You get like a choice. The only time that choosing your force powers actually matters is
Yeah.
the one choice at the end.
Yeah, which I will say, um, I loved that you could pick between light side and dark side powers. I was disappointed. Minor thing, and I'm not trying to compare it to KOTOR at all, I promise, but like a little disappointed that your decisions don't impact whether you go light side or dark side. They just
Yeah.
blatantly tell you at the end of the game, hey, which way do you want to go? And nice, but I do love when I love games where you can make decisions throughout the game to make you go either good or bad.
Well,
You
and they
know,
could have
like
had it so those decisions slowly started to affect you. Like Fable was
yeah,
out at this time, or Fable was soon to come out at this time, and they
yeah,
had a
like
system like that implemented. So even
not
in
a huge
like
deal, but
start getting the yellow eyes,
yeah,
pale skin with veins popping through, like start feeling the
something.
effects of the dark side on your physicality. But
Yeah, like because you're literally like for 3/4 of the game until you get to the near the end where you have to make a decision on what you want to do. You're in Luke Skywalker's academy, but you can do nothing but learn dark's like powers if you want, like dark force powers if you want, and it looks like this is fine. I mean, maybe they're going a little evil, but I'm sure that they have their shit under control. Like, which again, minor thing, but it would have been nice to see something change with that. You literally the only way the choice between the light and dark powers affects you is how your character plays. That's it. Which again,
well,
minor
you know,
complaint.
Luke was under the illusion that he changed his father back to the light side, had some redeeming qualities there. So he's like, fuck it. We'll teach him whatever they want to learn. We'll call it the Regio Jedi program. Let our students decide what they want to learn. And then
And
it didn't work out, and that's how you get the First Order, and Kylo Ren betrays him. So,
it all comes together.
and then Luke stops teaching.
Yeah,
And that's
and
where this game ends off with Kylo Ren. No, he's
Luke retires and starts a berry farm because he's like, I
yeah.
give up. But no, I like that. And when you mentioned it earlier, one of the things I thought was so cool was every time you go to the screen where you can pick your powers, there's like 4 powers on the light side and 4 powers on the dark side, and each one can be leveled up 3 times. But then in the middle, there's like your jump power, your push power, your pull power, your your sprint power, whatever. And those ones you can't change, even though they have 3 bars to level up too. And I was like, well, that's fucking weird. Why can't you level those up? Every time you finish one of those main quests after you do all the little ones, they automatically level up. So like you said, then you go into the second set and you can jump further and jump higher and stuff like that. And I actually thought that was a really cool touch, because you really do feel like you're getting more powerful as the game goes on.
Oh, absolutely. And not only that, but like the scale gets bigger. Like it just feels like the challenges increase as you become more badass. So that you get like a little bit of overlap where you're feeling like, oh, I'm now a Jedi Master. And then you go to the next stage and you're like, piss. Now this is hard enough for a Jedi Master.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like playing through the first few levels, like the first set of missions, like you're mostly fighting like stormtroopers, and it's really not anyone putting up a big fight, and you're like one hit killing most of them. And I felt like I was like, man, maybe I need to turn this difficult. Like maybe I need to turn the difficulty up, because I was like, this is laughably easy. But then I got into the second missions, and then all of a sudden, suddenly the enemies started having lightsabers and started fighting back, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, fuck me, okay, we're getting serious now. And it was still beatable, and I beat it. I will say that second final quiz where you're in like Darth Vader's old base, I thought got hard. Like I died in there quite a bit. That was getting hard. And then I got to those third missions, and I was like, clearly I should have been trying harder to get good in the first 2 levels, because I'm fucked now. It's because that dude, and you know what it is? It's that lightsaber combat.
Yeah.
I love the way it feels, but I found it very difficult. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I suck. I don't know.
Well,
I do suck, but
because you can get pretty much like one tapped with those lightsabers. So then that just opens up the potential to be like, oh, this didn't go my way.
Yeah, and
no matter how difficult the enemy is, because they can always just accidentally one tap you.
Yeah, and like so again, if you've never played it, when you're attacking with your lightsaber, like you can swing it like up and down, you can swing it left to right, you can throw it like a boomerang and it'll come back. And then later in the game, I think you can either get like one bigger one, or you can get I was rocking the dualies because they just look fucking awesome. And they were green and purple like Donatello. They were fucking sick. But you're like, your opponent is doing the exact same thing and swinging their lightsabers, and every time they're connecting, it feels like they're actually like, it feels like you're having an actual, it's really, it feels spectacular with the freedom of them and the physics of them and everything. But you're right, there were a couple of enemies where I killed them in seconds, and I'm like, fuck, I must have just gotten lucky to got through. And then there were other ones where I died in the first like 2 seconds, and I was like, this is horseshit. How the fuck did it get through? It's really and again, maybe I don't know, did you find it? Like, you will not offend me. Like, do I just suck? Like, did you find it difficult at all?
I don't remember finding it difficult. And like the recent playthrough, I didn't play through the whole thing. So I just played a few missions to kind of spark some memories, and then jumped on more multiplayer. And I found that very difficult.
Oh, and I'm going to pick your brain on that, because I want to know what that's all about.
I'm thinking like people getting to play, if I don't know how long the nerds on there have been playing, but if they say they've been playing for the last 20 years, this guy is rusty as hell. Let's just say I'm not. I didn't win any one-on-one duels like I thought I was going to.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's
I play a lot of shooters. I play a lot of third-person adventure games. I didn't find it overly difficult, but I also like, I don't know if it's like the not hack, but the like exploit that I've seen people use is like they just walk into someone with the lightsaber. They have like a certain angle, they pitch it down, they walk into someone and kills them.
Oh, okay.
What I was doing when I first played, I would whip the lightsaber and then force choke someone and like line them up with the lightsaber. 9 out of 10 times, like I had it timed where I could just, one tap them by doing that.
Oh, so like when the lightsaber was doing that boomerang thing, throw it, choke them, and then when it comes back, it just like slices them in half type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's badass. Yeah, I wanted
badass.
Yeah, that is fucking badass. Because I wanted to talk about that, because I know a lot of people. After I was like, I died so many times in these lightsaber battles. So then I was like, am I like the Skinner thing? Am I so out of touch? And I Googled it, and I was like, what is the strategy here? And it did seem that the choke was like one of the go-to strategies, or the lightning. And I quickly wanted to talk a little bit about some of the abilities you get, because I almost always like to play dark side. Like when I play KOTOR, I am evil as fuck. When I play Mass Effect, like Shepard needs some skin cream by the end. Like I'm an evil motherfucker in these games. And in this one, at a glance, I thought the dark side powers kind of left something wanting. Like the first two I filled up were my heal and my shield on the light side. And I still think filling up the heal is a godsend. I tried using the dark side one where you can like choke the life out of your opponent, but it just felt like it took too long and I was getting attacked while I was choking somebody. So I went to that way. But then I did start powering up the lightning, and holy fuck, that lightning is OP.
Oh
My God. That was saving my ass in the later levels. I would just shoot lightning, and then run away and let my force fill up again. Like the chicken shit that I am.
Would you ever kind of do that half moon jump slice with your lightsaber?
I tried, but I found the jumping difficult. Like especially in the later levels, once you level up and you could do all the Spider-Man flips and shit, I kept accidentally jumping off stuff, and you know what I mean? Like, any complaint I have about this game as far as combat goes, I think is 90% my suckage. Like, I just don't think I'm very good at it. I just thought it's so much fun to run around slicing shit with a lightsaber that even when I'm bad at it, I'm like, this is still fun. But
it's a hoot,
yeah. So those were like the primary force powers that I was leveling up. Is there, obviously you like to use the chokehold.
Yeah, the choke. I liked just kind of like I really liked. You need to have force heal. Like that's if you want to play
that
through
heals
the
a
game,
godsend. Yeah,
you need it.
Yeah.
The force speed was always really fun. That was cool.
Yeah.
Especially in single player, because if you look like you were moving at normal speed, but you'd have like shadows behind you.
Yeah.
But then everybody else would be slowed down. In multiplayer, you just kind of turbo around a little bit, but.
Yeah, and I wanted to say that, like, I was like, it took me forever to figure. I was like, it says I'm running, but I'm not running at all. This is fucking ridiculous. And then I finally realized it, like, oh, it's just everything else is moving slower. Which in hindsight makes sense as opposed to me running fast. Because, dude, I will say, and I don't know if this was so when you play the old Xbox games on the Series X, sometimes they get like a performance boost. And like when you play like Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 3 or whatever, like the load screens are basically non-existent. So you don't get to read those little tips in between. Like it's moving. And there's one mission in the second batch in this game where you're riding like speed bikes. And I don't know if it's a glitch from playing it on the Series X, but like all I could do was push my analog the slightest bit forward because anything else, and I was just turboing into mountains and just getting stuck on the mountains. Like I couldn't move. But I don't know if that's how it was back then or not. So
no, it was somewhat like that. So
okay, that was the only mission I played of other than the third batch that I couldn't beat. That was the only one I hated was that fucking speed bike mission because I couldn't beat it. I did eventually, but I got stuck in it forever.
Yeah, what did you think about the sandworm mission?
The one where you have to. Oh my god, is that the one where you have to collect all the pieces of your ship? Or all the pieces of the broken ship to repair yours without getting eaten. I love that mission. I thought that mission was sick.
I thought that one was so hard. Like I thought that was so hard because I don't want to just jump around. I love being able to just rip around and like fight hordes of enemies. So having to like not jump on the sand every time you jump on the sand, a giant sandworm comes after you. I was like, man, this is Star Wars, not Dune. Settle the fuck down.
Sure, dude.
But it was a hoot. Like the mission was good. I just that was the mission that stands out in my mind where I'm like, fuck, that was annoying.
I liked that there was, I wanted to just quickly say, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm not gonna even edit this out. In the background, it sounded like you were building a pipe bomb or like a Last of Us, like the fucking building mechanics. That's what it just sounded like you were building. Anyways,
yeah, it was me sitting up. My chair is holding
just your back, like
yeah. Not even my chair; it was my back for sure.
No, I really liked that all the missions were so different. I thought that was really cool. Like they weren't all just going in and hacking and slashing. I really liked that one with the sandworm where you have to collect the parts of your ship. The speed bike one fucking made me crazy. There's a couple where you had to like go around and like disarm bombs and like find all the bombs and stuff, which I thought was really cool. I thought they did in a very, like, let's call a spade a spade. The tech was pretty limited back then, especially compared to like, you play like a Star Wars Fallen Order or something now and it's night and day, but like they really did a good job of mixing up the missions and not making them too tedious and too repetitive. And I appreciated that. I thought it was really well done.
Exactly. And like I don't know, did you use the different like stances? Would you use like I think it was blue, yellow, and red?
No, I didn't, and I'm wondering if that's part of the reason I was struggling so hard with the lightsaber combat because I never used them.
You definitely could have, because like the one's more powerful, one's a light attack, right?
Yeah,
Depending on if you need speed or whatever. But then like just the thought of having different stances, like the guys who built this game obviously were reading a lot of the novels and were going, and they weren't just building this game off of the movies. That's why there's so much good
sure.
content in them. But like I thought that was such, the force powers, everything like that, and having going in depth with those, but actually having like fighting stances with your lightsaber and different like styles. It's a subtlety that you don't see in a lot of Star Wars stuff. They just, show their lightsaber battling and everybody thinks, oh, woo.
Right.
This looks fantastic. These giant laser swords, but there's a whole kind of, I don't know, like subtlety to it that even there's different schools of like lightsaber, sword play, or I don't know, sword lightsaber play training. Like I don't know how to say that, but you
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was
No,
cool having that in the game. Like that's just such a subtle
yeah,
kind of aspect. You could have just had it so that you've had 3 attacks with the lightsabers, and most people would
totally.
have been like, "Yeah, this
Yeah.
is badass."
It have you ever played The Witcher 3?
No, the Witcher
Okay.
games I actually really, really want to play too, because they.
Okay. Yeah, like the only one I've played is 3, but I really like it. It's a great game. But I'm not saying this definitively. Don't yell at me if I forgot some game. I don't play a ton of like sword fighting games, like now that I think about it, outside of like Link and like Zelda and stuff like that. But when
Yeah.
I played The Witcher 3, I did see some people say that like they put a lot of work into the sword combat to try to make the sword combat feel not just hacky, but like to try to make it feel real with the physics and everything. And I think it did a reasonable job. But I'm
Yeah.
playing this and I'm like, dude, this game's 20 years old, and for better and or worse, I'm like, I think they did a. I expected it to be a button mashing hack and slash, and it was for me because I wasn't very good. But I think if you're good with those lightsabers, there's a some remarkably deep physics engine, whatever mechanic, whatever you want to call it, combat to the
Oh
swords
yeah.
fights in this game. I was really impressed by that. Even when you're like, it's awesome when you're fighting somebody and you lock lightsabers and it does the like where you're mashing the button and trying to like overpower each other and it's
Oh,
glowing
and
and everything.
how cinematic does that feel? Like for
Yeah.
like I said, it hasn't been like until this point. I mean, this is the sequel to Jedi Outcast, so I mean, to this point, there was one game before this that did it well, but this just
Right.
builds on it. But like to that point, like most Star Wars games before that were side scrollers. You didn't have any. You didn't feel epic like you were having an epic lightsaber battle. This was the
No.
first game where it was like, oh, I'm having an epic lightsaber battle.
Yeah, it was
Like
sick.
that's
And then especially into the second and third missions when the people you're fighting that have lightsabers suddenly start unleashing like the force on you, like throwing lightning at you or choking you, and I'm like, "What the fuck? This is sick. They have the powers I have?" Which I
yeah.
thought was really cool until I realized I can't beat any of them. But I thought it was still a cool idea. I just
But
yeah, for everyone that wrote in, it was like, oh, I hope the combat holds up. I think it does. I was really impressed by that.
I think
I thought it
so.
was really cool.
I mean, I sent you a link in the chat. Maybe post it with it, but it shows all the different like things you could do with the lightsaber. So the different like dueling things and the button combos, like wall running to a side flip where you then bounce off your opponent and then do like a half somersault and stab them while they're on the ground. Where it's like,
Oh
yeah,
shit.
okay, you know, if that's the move people are busting out, sure, sure, this
Sure.
definitely feels badass, like Star
I
Wars.
I found the most satisfying deaths I would get with the lightsaber would be when I would somehow end up kind of behind them and I'd almost catch them like in a backswing. Like it almost felt
Nice.
like my character was looking away from them, but my lightsaber would come through and like get them, and then you just hear that like ah, and then like their arm gets cut off or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, and then I hear more enemies coming, and I'm like, gotta go hide and heal up really quickly because I'm a pussy, but uh, really, really satisfying combat, and again, I have to just say, we're gonna cut to the break right away. I really want to talk to you about the multiplayer, find out what it's about. But I gotta just say, I love the streamlinedness of the. You don't have to do 10 minutes of like walking around the fucking academy between missions and talking to Luke and talking to Rosh and finding out like, hey, what'd you have for lunch today? You know, like none of that. It's just pick a new ability, fucking go to another mission. I like trim the fat. I'm a
Yeah.
fan.
Well, and
So
you
I
don't even
really
go in
like
with an
that.
entire arsenal like they do. You pick like 2 or 3 guns plus your lightsaber plus a grenade or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
yeah. You pick
so it's
you pick two
you're not
guns and
even
a throwable. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not even burdened down with like a ton of equipment. It's not like it, in Doom. And I'm not shitting on Doom, but it's not like they carbon copy Doom where you just have all 20 weapons on your tool belt. Like,
Totally.
you
You
know,
do throughout the game though. You do like in a level. You do pick up a lot of weapons, and like I did find myself when I started fighting with like the flying stormtroopers. I'd go through. I had like 20 weapons, and I'm like, I don't know. Just I don't know. I don't care. Fucking just pick
yeah.
one. Which one will shoot? I don't give a fuck. I just want to
What
go
one
back to the
would you use?
lightsaber, but I can't fucking reach them.
The
I don't
Wookiee
know.
crossbow?
I did use the crossbow sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
liked
kidding.
I liked the
Honestly,
Wookiee
I usually,
crossbow.
yeah, I thought it was the coolest weapon.
Yeah.
But when I wasn't using my lightsaber, I was normally using the grenades. I would
Oh
just
yeah.
hide and throw grenades at people because I'm a pussy. I am Raj.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyways, listen, we've been going for like 35 minutes already. We're gonna sneak in a quick late break here. Hopefully we'll get a sponsor, someone we can fool somebody into sponsoring the show. When we come back, I really want to talk to you about the multiplayer, find out what I'm missing out on. So we'll be right back in like 3 seconds or maybe longer if there's a sponsor. We'll be right back. Okay, Tyler. I've never hidden the fact I don't have friends. I don't really play online very often, other than Mario Kart and Tetris. You have not only were you playing the multiplayer back then, you've been playing the multiplayer over the last few days. Please teach me. You're Luke, and I'm a young female Taiwan. What was I called?
Twi'lek.
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 Explain to me. Explain to me.
Tyron.
Tylawan. I am a
Tylawan.
young Twi'lek. Explain to me what the multiplayer of this game is all about.
All right, you're about to be plunged into a hellscape, a
Uh-oh.
wild hellscape. The multiplayer, it had, like I said, this was like one of the first multiplayers that was absolutely just epic, groundbreaking. So, um, I'm just trying to think. They had like several modes. Like there was capture the flag, power duel, siege, and like free for all.
Okay.
I think there was like a team deathmatch, but I can't quite remember. I usually played in free for all or in siege. I think siege was a really fun mode too.
So like what did you have to do? Like kill each other or like
Yeah, yeah,
have like
yeah.
objectives or
So yeah, and like capture the flag would be a standard capture the flag kind of
sure.
thing. Objective power duels, it was all like one-on-one duels. So one of the
What?
things that was cool about this multiplayer, so you'd roll up and you'd be your custom Jedi, and you could choose to have like a dual lightsaber, like the staff, or two
Right.
lightsabers, like dual
The
lightsabers,
dualies, yeah.
or a single lightsaber, which was badass. And then you had different moves. Like with the staff, I'm pretty sure you could do like a weird like spinning thing where you're basically like a turning your body. You know when the have you uh, now I question if you've ever seen any of the old Star Wars movies.
I've seen all the original, like the original 9 and then Solo and
Okay,
Rogue.
you know when Darth Sidious and Mace Windu's confronting the Emperor before they know he's the Emperor, and then he like flies at him and does like a corkscrew with his lightsaber with the staff. I'm pretty sure you could do a move
No.
like
No,
that, and it
okay.
was. Anyways,
All
the
right, no,
Star
go
Wars
ahead.
nerds, the Star
Yeah,
Wars
yeah.
nerds know.
No,
But
I
you do like a
appreciate it.
spinning corkscrew, and you rotate the staff while you're doing it, so you create like this lightsaber death fucking vortex.
Okay.
Or with the dual lightsabers, you could do like a double slash and have them like extended out to your sides. It was some wild shit. And
But
like I said, you're coming off of like watching all these films and stuff and like, basically fantasizing to do this. And then you get a game where you can actually do a lot of these moves and shit like that. So you
sure.
roll into a multiplayer match and there's blasters going off, 32 players in the match, which was a lot of people. I don't think like death matches or anything like that had 32 players on Xbox or anything at this point. Like that was a
But
huge
didn't I
server.
thought did you say you could go one-on-one? Or
So
was
what
it
you would do, you'd be in like a free for all where people would be battling and it would just be everybody for everybody. And I forget what the hotkey was. Say it was like K. You'd roll up to someone and hit K, and you would publicly challenge them, and your character would do like a pre animated like come get some, where you kind of like wave your hand at them, calling them over, and then you would go transparent, so your character's opacity would lower, so other people could see you. So
Okay.
if the duel was epic, servers would stop to watch it, and then you'd have a
Oh.
one-on-one where other people can't interact with you, and you would duel that one person one-on-one. It
Wow.
was so awesome. And
S
there were things added in where you could like taunt people, where you throw your lightsaber up and spin it with the force in
Okay.
your hand, so it's rotating while it's on in your hand, like creating kind of a buzzsaw, being
Sure.
like, "Yeah, motherfucker, I'm badass. Let's go."
Oh my
Oh,
god! And then
it
was
was
it like?
wild.
But was it still like? So if it was, so you said there was like 32 people in like a match, and you could challenge someone to like a one-on-one duel or whatever.
Yeah.
Was it still like last person standing wins?
I think it was like points. I don't think they had the idea of like a.
Oh, it wasn't
Uh,
like a battle royal yet or anything.
no, they didn't
Okay.
have.
Okay.
I don't. That would have been awesome.
Maybe some of these are
Man,
dumb questions. I don't play
whoa.
online ever, so I don't know. I don't know. That sounds sick though. That sounds like
Having
so much fun.
someone could mod, because that's the thing now. Like I was saying earlier, that there's players playing this. So to get on to Star Wars Jedi Academy, the multiplayer, you have to get. There's like some online mod that you have to add, and there's a, what did I call it? A not a batch file. You have to use a batch
Oh,
file to launch.
classic Edge file.
Yeah. It's like some
Gross.
I don't know. I'm saying high level nerd stuff. Some guy who can write code is like, haha, peasant. Can't
Yeah,
even figure
yeah.
out a batch file. It's like,
I promise you that most of those people aren't listening to my fucking podcast.
yeah.
So
And
I'm not too
realistically,
worried.
it's like I throw my hands up. I'm like, man, I'm an industrial mechanic. I can rebuild a centrifugal pump, like a turbine, a freaking compressor, the size of a
Sure.
building. Screw off. It's just because I
I'll
can't figure out a stupid batch file.
I'll beat you in
Anyways,
Mario Kart. So
yeah,
anyway,
there,
continue.
there you
That's
go.
all I have. I'm sorry.
But
Okay.
they have like a thriving community of mod players, like people who are playing with all these mods. You could play like all the new characters. They've modded them into the game, so you could play as Kyle Rilo. What's his name? Fucking Ben. Ben Kenobi. Fucking not Ben Kenobi. Ben Solo. Ben Solo.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
what's that? Why am I
I've only
struggling on
seen
his
I've only
stupid
seen the
character's
modern
name?
ones one time each, so I don't know anybody.
I'm floundering on his name, and I can't even think of the actor's name right now because I'm stupid. You
Oh,
put me
we're
on
gonna
the
hear about
spot.
this. I know. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Kylo
That's
Ren.
okay.
There we go. You can
Okay.
play as Kylo Ren without a fucking shirt on, with his blocky, weird, marine body,
Sure.
because the actor was a marine.
I
But
love that
it's like,
people are still so into this game. Like that's awesome.
oh, and so they have like all the original modes in it and everything. So you can play like Jedi Knight, Jedi, like whatever, Jedi Academy. It's like Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Academy, but whatever. You can play all the original modes, but you can get a mod on top of the online server mod so that you can play movie battles where they've built like entire landscapes based on the movies. And then you have like Count Dooku versus, Anakin and Obi-Wan. You have all these like epic like scenes from the movies that people play out. It looks fantastic. I haven't checked that out yet. I've only been playing the old multiplayer, but it's literally like some top tier. There's new mechanics that have come out in the last 20 years that if they implemented those, this would be, I would play this constantly.
Right.
Like it's awesome.
That's
10 out of
sick.
10.
I like it. I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. Dude, I fucking part of me wishes like I'm like, man, I should start getting into these multiplayer. And then I'm like, no, don't. I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna be like, this is fuck, I hate this. I suck. I don't wanna I like to be left alone. But I like hearing about these multiplayer games. I like hearing about these crazy things in these far away in these universes far. I feel like you could have the Star Wars text come in and just explain what the multiplayer for this game was like 20 years ago. That yellow font that's like slowly drifting away into the stars. And I'm
Yeah.
sitting there just mesmerized by it. I'm like, I don't need to be there. I just want to know what happened. This is crazy. So I love that it's
And
still, I remember you text me last week and you're like, holy fuck, people are still playing this. I'm going to do this all weekend. I love it. That makes me so happy.
and the only drawback was getting the mod going with that batch file was a pain in the ass. Like I said, I'm
Right.
not that guy, and that was frustrating as hell.
Ah,
But
fuck, that
yeah,
makes
I
me
mean,
crazy.
it holds up. Like, and one of my favorite things to do back in the day was I would play as Luke Skywalker because you pick your character model. So I'd pick like Luke Skywalker. I would
Okay.
have my online name be Mark Hamill. So every time I killed someone, you were killed by Mark Hamill, and I would laugh so hard about it. Mark
Dude.
Hamill fucked you up.
I meant to say that too. When I was playing the single player, you're like, you talk to Luke at points during the game. Like there's cutscenes where he's talking to you and everything. And I text you and I was like, yo, is that? There's no
Oh,
way. I'm like, did they get him for the game? And
which
apparently they didn't. But
no,
the dude that did
but
this voice destroyed it.
yeah, he did an amazing job. And like I thought legitimately it was going to be Mark Hamill because I mean that guy does a ton of voice acting,
Yeah.
and at this time like he was doing the Joker for Justice League and for like all the Warner Brothers shit, but I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know what else he was doing. So they got a guy named Bog Bergen to do the voice of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, and it's such an iconic. Like everybody knows that voice, and I'm playing it, and I mean, I don't. I mean, maybe diehards like it doesn't sound that much like him. I consider myself like I got to be careful with my words here. Like a 3 out of 10 knowledgeable when it comes to voice work. Like I do some voices. People are like, yeah, I'm pretty decent at voice. I can do that. And I was like, dude, that guy, maybe this dude's voice just sounds exactly like Mark Hamill's. You know, like maybe that's just his natural voice. But if not, the impression he did was spot on. I
Oh,
was
buddy.
really impressed. I
So I,
really shocked.
I just looked this guy up. If he's not Porky Pig, he's Luke Skywalker. Like, there is, just at a glance, 20 Star Wars games that he plays Luke Skywalker in.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he's got the voice down then.
Yeah.
Good for him. I was that, and I will say too that like when you take a character as iconic as a Luke Skywalker, and again, even as a new Star Wars fan, like I like Star Wars. Like I'm a Star Wars. I'm a fan. I like these. I like this universe, and I'm excited to play this game. And I'm like, this is really cool. The idea that I'm going to like Luke Skywalker's academy and he's going to teach me how to move shit with my brain and stuff. But then to actually hear him, it really does feel like he's talking to you. Again, for a game where, like, I'll be honest, I don't think the story is anything to write home about. I was still really impressed by that. It still kept me
Oh,
hooked. And then add
oh yeah.
in the constant changing of the missions to keep it fresh and the various strategies. Like, you could play this game, load up on the light side powers, go through and just basically use your lightsaber and fucking heal and shield your way through it. And then the next time you go in and you're just choking the life out of everybody and there's some replay here without the multiplayer, and then you throw in the multiplayer, and I'm like, holy fuck! I don't want to hear you Star Wars fans bitching about not having any good games. I don't know if you do, but if you do, shut your fucking mouths. As a Ninja Turtles fan, I'm offended because we're just finally starting to get good games, and you guys had this and KOTOR, and now you have the Fallen Order and Survivor, and you've got fucking Episode 1 Racer, and you guys
Oh man,
have games. This game's
Star
awesome.
Star Wars has always had good games too. Like even the
Holy shit!
SNES side scroller ones are a hoot. Like those are great games. These
I've
were
always wanted
really
to play that Super Star Wars on the Super
oh,
Nintendo.
it's great. My cousins had that game and it was one of the only games they had that I didn't have, so it has a special like, oh, this was a treat to get to play that.
Oh yeah. Well,
But even
sick.
this,
I like it.
like I said, this was, 10 out of 10. It was a fantastic, fantastic Star Wars game, and they have other good Star Wars games. Like,
Oh yeah. I want to promise everybody listening to this because I know I'm going to get asked. Eventually, I do want to do KOTOR 2. Eventually, I want to play some more of these now. We got Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, I think, coming up. I have at least one more Star Wars on the backlog right now as it is. I want to play more of these games. I don't think I've played one I haven't liked yet.
did
Like,
so you're not an MMO guy, at
no,
all,
not at
right?
all. Not at all. No.
Yeah. So you never
Too
played
many
the
too many people.
Star Wars Online, the Old Republic,
No.
basically like the MMO version of KOTOR, right?
No, but that sounds like it'd be a lot of fun.
It was cool because it takes place in the same time as KOTOR, roughly,
There,
like the Old Republic. So you have the Mandalorian Wars, lots of that's referenced. You have like huge, like not only are the Jedi factions huge, the Sith faction is huge, as opposed
right.
to like in this era during Academy where 2 Sith, tons of Jedi, no Jedi, 2 Sith, more Sith, I guess, because there's the Inquisitors and all that shit, but
Sure.
technically 2 Sith Lords, right? And then they kind of waffle back and forth between very few Jedi, very few Sith, right? This is like KOTOR. There's just tons of Jedi and Sith everywhere. Like it's just badass. Mandalorians ripping around, Vibra Steel, the whole shebang. Like yeah, it was awesome. I played the shit out of the online.
There's just so much you can do with the Star Wars universe. Like it's
Yeah,
just, you know what I mean? Like there's just, and I don't just mean obviously we know for better and worse, there's lots of movies and shows and everything, but like
yeah.
as a gamer, I'm like, dude, there's endless options you could like endless
Oh
things you
yeah.
could do with this. I'm so fascinated by it. And like
I
again,
think
I'm
they should
so
come out
new.
with I think they should come out with a sequel to this game, and they
Yeah,
shouldn't change the mechanics too heavily. Like I think they should just kind of roll with what they got going on. I feel
sure.
like this game, really set the pace for games. And I'm gonna hate myself for not remembering this. It was with Star Killers. It was the Xbox 360 games.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't touched any of them.
Oh,
But
there was
no,
there
there
was some really good games on the 360. It's like Force Awakened, Force
Force
Unleashed.
Awakens. Okay.
Force Awakens, I think that's one of the new movies, isn't it? So it was Force Unleashed, I believe, where they had like an actor that they modeled the character after, and the actor was he was from Battlestar Galactica. He never really became a big actor, but he looked like perfect for this role. And
Hmm.
the way that Knights of the Old Republic, or pardon me, Jedi Academy, like Jedi Knight 2, the way you move and the way like the Force powers and everything feels, it feels like it was called Force Unleashed. It feels like Force Unleashed was like a sequel to it, but it's a single player game, third person adventure.
Oh,
You're like
okay.
a really powerful Jedi. You're one of Darth Vader's Padawans or whatever, apprentices, and he's just like total badass. But it feels like that. Like it feels like Jedi Academy and Jedi Outcast got like the Force powers right, got the lightsaber stuff right, and then any game that's come out since has been like, yeah, we're just improving on a system that ain't broke.
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play more of these, man. I really genuinely, because none of my friends, I had a couple of friends that were into Star Wars back then, but they weren't playing these games. I never heard anyone talking about these games. And now that I've started to play them, I'm like, dude, these are a lot of fun. And I also will, because we're gonna wrap this thing up, but I also just gotta say, like, dude, there's something about games from that original Xbox era. Like I know that looking at the graphics today, maybe it's not the best looking game ever, but like I love I love this era for gaming. Like the PS2 Xbox, I love that era for graphics and the way games look. And I don't know. I really enjoyed this. I thoroughly enjoyed this game, minus the fact that it got too hard for me because I suck. But other than that, it was a lot of fun.
You just needed to be cheap, force grip them,
Yeah,
and then throw your
I
lightsaber
should
and
have
slice
just.
them up.
And ironic that I love to play the villain and the dark side of games, and then everyone's like, "Dude, just go to the dark side and choke everyone," and I'm like, I can't do that. But it's like literally that's what's standing. I gotta embrace the hate. God, bet your ass I'm killing Rosh. Bet your ass. Anyways, um, so Tyler, our scoring system for this game is out of 32. That's courtesy of Vic Vinegar, and that's the number of megabytes needed to run this game. Apparently, back then,
What?
I don't get me. I don't know anything about computers. I don't even know what a megabyte is, but we're scoring it out of 32.
Okay.
So I ask
Okay.
you, friend, out of 32, what score are you giving Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy?
Um.
That sounded like a lightsaber.
I'm gonna give it 31.
Jeez. Wow.
I played a lot of this game. And this is one of those sleeper games that like I had forgotten I played a lot of it. Like when you brought it up, I was like, you texted me and you're like, "Hey, do you want to do this game?" I was like, "You mean where you adventure alongside fabled Jedi Kyle Katarn?" And you're like, "Who?" And I was like, "Fuck. Okay." And then I started I was like, "Piss, he
Uh,
hasn't played it yet. He doesn't even know who
that
the
did happen. That did happen. And it's funny too because I knew as soon as this game came up, I was like, Tyler will have played this. I was like, Tyler's a
and
fucking nerd. Tyler will have played
oh,
this. I know
through
he
and
will.
through. And I played a shit ton of it. Like
I love
some of
it.
my first LAN parties were Diablo, StarCraft, and this.
Makes me
Uh
happy.
oh man, like so fun.
It's for the record around here, it's pronounced Diablo.
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 That's how I say it, just to irritate Diablo fans.
Perfect. Good. Good, good, good,
31.
good.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
give it. I'm gonna give it 27. It's
All
good.
right.
I'm not very good. I have no speaking to the multiplayer, and I hate Rosh, and it's losing a point for the stupid long name. But
Yeah.
other than that, it's a good game. I liked it.
And like
I,
my score is so high because of the multiplayer. Like that's why
sure.
I boosted it up. Like single player wise, I'd say I'm around where you were at. It was a good single player, good story, but multiplayer was like next
Right.
level epic.
In my limited Star Wars exposure, I would say my number 1 is still KOTOR. Number 2 is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. This would be number 3, and then Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Still fun, but that would be
Yeah.
number 4. And I think that's all my Star Wars games so far. But I'll keep
Nice.
adding to the list. Tyler, you're a busy guy, which is why it's so hard for me to fucking set these up because you and I stay busy at opposite schedules. But if people want to check out more of your wares, like a merchant in an RPG, where could they find you? Oh, sorry. Quickly, shout out to the fact that I don't have to buy anything in this game. I fucking hate having to go to like villages and RPGs and like buy all my new equipment and everything. And I'm glad I don't have to do any of that in this game. So
Yeah.
27.5 for not making me have to buy anything.
Well, and
So
I mean, in the Jedi Knight 2 Outcast, the game before this, you don't even get your lightsaber to level 6. So the fact that you get your lightsaber, awesome,
yeah,
right off the hop.
need the saber.
You know what the audience wants.
Yeah, need the saber. Yeah, where can people check out your wares? What do you got going on?
So I've got one thing I'm going to plug right now because I think the other thing we're too busy with it and we don't have enough wiggle room for more clients. So I'm not going to plug my farm. That was going to be the thing, but we don't. Till we have more room, I'm going to be on more episodes. I'll plug it when we actually have some wiggle room for taking on more clients. But we are farming, and it's Crocus Hill Prairie Farms. So there's a website and everything. We're very professional. My wife is very professional. I'm just the hired help.
I like it.
And then the other thing that I got going on, it's actually my buddy Martin's thing, but I'm often a guest on it, just like I'm a guest on this. It's Studio 762 on YouTube. We just had a short film called Imperfect Terrain released 2 weeks ago. We filmed it back in 2019, I believe, just before COVID really started to ramp up. So it was one of the last things we filmed where we were able to like go and be in public and have a crew of like 50 people. So it's out. It's 24 minutes and 10 seconds long. It's the best thing we've released yet. There's actually 2 other films that we've done that are better. And each time we'd come out with one, it gets better. My acting has not improved, but he still graciously puts me in his films. So,
I like
and it looks great for, a bunch of nerds with no budget and very little resources. Man, these films are, a step above.
Hell yeah.
So
oh yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely
No,
worth
I've
checking out.
checked. Yeah, I've checked some of the work out. It's fucking wild. So you guys can find links in the description of this show. Tell them Tyler sent you. Don't tell them Remember the Game sent you. That won't mean anything. Tell them Tyler sent you. That would be cool. And yeah, fuck yeah, Tyler. Thanks for doing this, buddy. I have no idea what the next game you and I are going to talk about is, but I'm sure it'll be something nerdy. And we'll discuss that off air. We'll find something. But thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry, what did you say? One more time. What was I? A twin?
Twi'lek.
Twi'lek.
Yeah.
Twi'lek. I'm a Twi'lek. Fuck yeah. I'm a female Twi'lek. Good shit. Thanks, buddy. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to do it for this week's episode. Vic, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode, dude, and your patience in waiting almost a year for me to fucking get to it. And thank you for coming on the show and talking Jedi Academy. And of course, Tyler, thank you for giving me a call and talking about your adventures with lightsabers and trying to make the multiplayer work and all that other shit that we just talked about for like an hour. Thank you for listening, everybody. If you liked this, first of all, check out the description of this podcast. You'll find a link to Tyler's shenanigans on YouTube. Dude's awesome, and they're pretty sick videos. Check him out. Number 2, if you like this podcast, leave us a nice review, would you? I mean, we get lots of bad ones, but the nice ones make me feel good, and apparently they help the show. I'm just not sure how. And if you want more of these, Patreon.com/remember the game. Subscriptions start at just $3 a month as I hold up 4 fingers that you can't see because it's an audio show. $3 a month is where the subscriptions start. You get instant access to literally hundreds of bonus podcasts, ad-free, right there on your phone. You can add them on Spotify now, which is sick. We offer 4 additional shows a week. It's wild. The Simpsons Show, my rambling personal vlogging show, Expansion Pass, which is something different every week, and Game Patch, our gaming news show. You also get access to our Discord. You can write in and play one, remake one, erase one, and all those other things. And you know the perks. It's good stuff. Patreon.com/remember the game. Our merchandise sale is only running for a couple of more days. Go to rememberthegamepodcast.com. Use the code RTG5 to save 20% on your merch. I have a P.O. box. Don't send me big stuff. Just send me a postcard, a letter, something little. Say hi. And then that'd be cool. By the way, somebody sent me the McDonald's Chicken McNugget Tetris game from China, and it's fucking sick, and I have no idea who sent it to me, so I can't write back and say thank you. So if you're hearing this and you sent this to me, email me at rememberthegame@gmail.com and tell me you sent it to me, and I'll write you back, and we'll be friends. I'm on Twitch, twitch.tv/rememberthegame. Whenever I feel like getting on there, come by and say hi, and I think that's it. Yeah. That's good enough. All right, I'm going to thank some Patreons, and I'm going to get out of here. Thank you all so much for listening. I appreciate it. We'll be back next week. We'll be back tomorrow for our Patreons with Expansion Pass 180. We'll be talking about the biggest pieces of shit in gaming. Game Patch on Friday, and then next week, a whole nother slab of podcasts, including Remember the Game 267, which should be about Wario Land 4 for the GBA. Fuck yeah. Take it easy, everybody. I'll talk to you on the next one. Cheers, so long. Goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all the content I turn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/remember the game, and as such, I am contractually obligated to thank them as quickly as possible. So in reverse alphabetical order, let's go. A huge thank you to, hang on a minute, I'm going to take a drink of water first. Delicious. Zonko 504, Zane Donovan, Zamato, Zach Shepard, Wyatt the Surgeon Who's Not a Surgeon Row, Wolf Magic 21, Wolfgang Darren, WestGen, Works For Me, Up and At Them, Uncanny, Tyler Bauer, Turtle the Exuberant Timmy, Tunable Power, Triple, Trevor McKee, Tom Houlihan, Titan 420, Timothy Sabrinsky, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Thomas Childs, Thomas Smith, The Supreme Chozorizo. That one fucked me up for some reason. Theodore, The Fletchman, The Keegs, The Big Deal, That One Kid Josh, Ted Explosion, Stud Still Smash, Storm Beagle, Steve Dalk, Squint, Squeak Nut, Sour Goat Face, Solomon Soto, Slick Rick, Sleeper Hit, Scissor Fist, Sharonic, Shoeboxers, Sean Ramos, Scrub Tech 84, Scott Brooks, Scary Terry, Sam Carpenter, Sabin, S, Ryan Whitcomb, Ryan Perry, Ryan Kinchin, Ruben Elizald, Robier, Ray San Wantonga, Randy Barrage, Raging Irish, Radioactive Man, Quiet Place Queen, Postman, Plow King, Fill Up My Mouth With Farts, Philip Ramsey, Phil Lencher, Orokusaki's Gardener, Oh My God It Froze, Nothing Could Possibly Go Wrong, No One Cares, Nicole Aldana, Nicola, Nick Creature, Nick Amos, Nerdy Hybrid, Neil Cooper, NAFE, Nathan Tremblay, Musty Beetle, Mr. Papa Giorgio, Morgan, Mizuru, Mike Maloney, I'm struggling for some reason today, Mercury 869, Mellow Yellow 8787, Max Sandin, Max Lagru, Maverick Marty, Matt Zeus, Matt Babinu, Mark Sneed, Marcus Mendoza, Makeshift Mellow Magic Money, Lucas Valadez, Lotus, Lord Stay Puffed, Lord Longrod Von Hugendong II, Liquor Like Luigi, Lever Trehe, Oh, Lever Trehe, like Trevor Leahy, I get it. Leroy Westrich, Laces Out Dan, Knife Goes In, Guts Come Out, Kia Pup, Kevin Monroe, Kayach, Justin Blair, Just Car Pranks, Just a Fish, Juris Dr. Mario, Joe Stone, Jordan, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Johnny Zubu 81, Johnny from Virginia, John Woodruff, John M. Watkins, Joe the Sandman, Joe Buck, Jake Callahan, Jimothy, Jeff Bergeron, James Juan Francesco, James Clark, Jameer Williams, Jake Carter, It's That Nerd James, It's the Bigfoot, It's OG, Isaias, Ian, Itchy Nutsuru, Holmes, Hitchypoo, Hired Goons, High Plains Drifter, Hagel Waffle, Guy Who Does Things, Graham Kennedy, Glue Scappin, Gabe, G9PSX, General Fury, Fuzzy 99, Frosty Feet 492, Frosty Bear, Fraser Burns, Franklin Badge, Forsaken Hero, Flinny 123, Faded Sufferance, Fallen Snow Kiku, Esteban Navarro, Eric Hopewell, Eric James, E-Man Trucker, Elijah Burns, Elephant Calves, Drugs and Venom, K, Dr. Nightmare 23, Doug Dorn, Doogie, Donnie the Dude Walter, Digital Dave, Diablo Spartan, Denzalo, Dem Boys on the Roof, Decoy Man, DBXJ, David Schroeder, Dave Thompson, Dave McGee, Darth Skywalter, Daniel, Dan of DNA Gaming, Dan Fusselman, Dakota Guy, Colin Bollinger, Cody Thompson, Cody Richardson, Chugger22, Christopher Britt, Christian Gabriel, Chris Williams, Chris Hill, Chris Fleury, Chorizo Nino, Chevy Boy 9211, Cesar, Captain N, Can't Destroy Her, Cam Nelly 23, C-Spin, Buy Me Bone Storm, Burt Macklin, Bulma Simp, Bula, Brian Weber, Brian Richmond, Brian Neese, Brandon DeZeba, Bobby Litton, B Money, Blobby Rogers, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Because 19, Biddy, Big the Cat, Big Daddy Randall, Benjamin Atkins, Beers of War, Beef Dingleberry, Beaver Boy, Bearded Bastard from Part Unknown, Ballsack Teabagger, Austin from Past the Present Player Podcast, Atrio Wormwood, A-Town, Antonio Echeverria, Angry Ticks, fuck, I'm going to try to get through the rest of these in one breath, and then I fucked up the first one. Andy Hudson, Andrew Wright, Andrew Rodman, Andre, Alexander Camps, Alex Ramos, Alex R., Alex McIntyre, AJ Mukherjee, My Foot, Adam Martinet, Adam Blank's Evil Twin, Adam Blank still has reviewed Mario Galaxy, Adam Blank loves Mario is missing, no I don't, Aaron Lawson, AP Killing It, 2 names Adam. Oh, that was close. It was a bad batch of shout-outs. We'll do better next week. Probably not, but I'll try. Thank you all so much. Seriously, take it easy. Talk to you on the next one. Cheers.